to sit back and enjoy the action. It's Aberdeen against Celtic for a place in the Scottish Cup final with Willie Miller, Pat Bonner and Alistair Lamont.
Thanks very much, Kenny. As the teams emerge, expectation is weighted heavily towards a Celtic victory this afternoon as they aim to end a sometimes fraught season with victory on two fronts and a sixth Scottish Cup triumph in the last 8 years. But as we've been reminded recently, even the sturdiest looking unbeaten records can be shattered, and Aberdeen will be doing their utmost to end a 24-game streak without a win over Celtic and a run of 8 defeats here at Hampden against today's opposition. One thing's for sure, this is a far cry from the ignominy of Darvel, an absolute nadir for Aberdeen. Darvel, who themselves reached the Scottish Junior Cup final. Can Aberdeen instead hit the heights this afternoon by upsetting the heavy favourites Celtic, who are looking to seal the double before the season is out? The team's just going through the handshakes in the middle of the park. A lovely sunny day here at the National Stadium. Feels like the first we've had in Glasgow for many a month. And Celtic crowd vastly outnumbering the Aberdeen fans who are away across their left. We think around about 8,000 Aberdeen fans inside the stadium this afternoon. Celtic taking up the most part of Hampden as Aberdeen's stand-in skipper Angus MacDonald goes through the coin toss with his Celtic counterpart Callum McGregor. A massive boost, as the guys have been saying, to have him back in the side. All of his previous 6 Scottish Cup medals have come putting the final seal on trebles. Well, that won't be the case this season, but absolutely no doubt he'll be keen to make it a 7th triumph in Celtic colours next month back here at Hampden. The referee Don Robertson takes the ball into the centre spot. Aberdeen players make their way towards the home fans. Applaud them for making the trip to Hampden. Celtic go into the huddle inside their own half. The atmosphere is electric around Hampden. Most of them hoping to see another Celtic victory over Aberdeen and Hampden, but that fraction across their left looking to cause an upset and make their way back to the National Stadium once more, as they did for the League Cup final this season. On that occasion they lost out to Rangers. The winners of this one, of course, will play either Rangers or Hearts, that to be decided tomorrow. But it's either Aberdeen or Celtic this afternoon who can book their place in the Scottish Cup final. Celtic going from right to left, get us underway. And Celtic in their traditional green and white hoops, white shorts, white socks. Aberdeen all in red, and it's Celtic looking to get off to an early start on a positive front as strong challenge on Hatate as he came down the left, and Duke picks up just outside his own penalty area, looking to make some headway. Liam Scales steps in and clips it up towards the edge of the Aberdeen box, away by Garteman, and then McDonald plays it up to Majolski, just lays it into the path of Clarkson, tries to return it to Majolski with the outside of his boot, but it comes off a Celtic defender, and Johnston gets it back to Joe Hart, who turned 37 yesterday, and having announced his retirement a couple of months ago, looking to go out in a blaze of glory with another league winners medal and Scottish Cup winners medal to his name. Carter Vickers tidying up at the back for Celtic. Johnston gets out to the right hand side for Nicholas Kuhn, and back it goes to Carter Vickers. You do feel that with Carter Vickers and Callum McGregor as well as Rio Hatate back in that Celtic lineup, perhaps Dyson made it apart. This is as strong as Celtic could possibly be.
Yeah, I agree. It's I did say before the game that maybe there was an argument for either Forrest or Palmer to come in on that left hand side, but Young, he's done okay. He's had a few games where you would maybe question. I think last week he struggled a little bit in the conditions more than anything else, but he has to produce today.
Duke rising above Greg Taylor to win the flick on. Leighton Clarkson playing pretty high up the park. Callum McGregor, I noticed, was just asking one of the defenders to pick him up so that he could move up the field there as Aberdeen had possession. Mickey Devlin playing with the face mask on. Plays it forwards for McGrath, leaves it off to Clarkson. That's it behind. Big chance for Majowski to open the scoring, and he has done. What a start for Aberdeen! Bojan Majowski, the scourge of Celtic already this season, has given them the ideal start. Wonderful ball in behind the Celtic defence, and Bojan Majowski, as cool as you like, notches number 24 for the season. Aberdeen could not have wished for a better start to this semi-final. It's Aberdeen 1, Celtic 0.
He's a key man, isn't he, for the Aberdeen side, and he's found his form in such an important game, very early in this game as well, giving Aberdeen, you know, that early lead. And it's a wonderful little build-up of play. The ball in behind. Is it McGrath or Clarkson? I'm not 100% certain that actually played it, but it's a superb. I think it's McGrath coming in off the left-hand side to Clarkson, then a little thing in behind, and Majowski's run's fabulous. The pass is superb. The finish is calm, it's cool, it's Majowski all day long. Hart does get a little touch on it. The left foot ends up in the back of the net. What a start!
Incredible start, an incredible start for them. And Jimmy McGrath coming into that almost centre forward position, joining in. That allowed then Majowski to be free, and it sort of almost upset the Aberdeen two centre backs. But the ball in behind Carter Vickers was superb, and the finish excellent. Great start for Aberdeen.
Well, you surely felt that to have any chance of winning the Scottish Cup semi-final, Aberdeen had to get the opening goal, and they have done. 3 minutes in, and Bojan Majowski, with his 4th goal in the Scottish Cup so far, has put them in front. You can be sure that Celtic won't be panicking at this stage, but it's a brilliant start. And I did say just a moment ago that Leighton Clarkson had started the game in a very advanced position, and it was him that played that final ball through to Majowski in behind Carter Vickers. So difficult to thread that through, but he found the precision, Willie, and Majowski, although Hart got a touch on it, as you say, couldn't keep it out, and Majowski again is the man for Aberdeen, as he so often has been.
He is, yeah, and you know, that's where Clarkson's been playing. I think he's a little bit more further forward, I would suggest, than I've seen him in recent games, which Peter Leavin is obviously, you know, is having a go at Celtic, but it was a lovely ball in.
Here's Yang, left-hand side of the penalty area for Celtic, just dancing his way into the box, lays it back for Johnston, but 30 yards from goal. He plays it to McGregor for Taylor, left-hand side into the feet of Hatate, goes back to Johnston once more, playing in a central area at the moment. Out it goes to Kuhn, angle of the box on the right hand side, up against McKenzie, goes on the outside, stands up to the back post, Roos gets a hand to it, and it's headed over the crossbar in the end by Yang. It was a difficult one for him to take, came at him very quickly after Roos got a hand to it, but nonetheless a chance for the equaliser there. 5 minutes in, Aberdeen 1, Celtic 0.
Yeah, Kuhn up against McKenzie in that sort of almost right wing position, beat him quite easily. Nice little ball to the back post. The goalkeeper gets a decent touch on it. Maybe he could have done a little bit better, but Yang, it was just slightly above his head that he just couldn't get it down and direct it into the far corner.
Yeah, you've spoken in recent times, Backy, about Celtic wingers not being positive enough, but Kuhn, after a slightly nervy start perhaps to his Celtic career, seems to me to have found that energy and positivity, and was threatening there against McKenzie, as you say.
Absolutely. I remember up in Aberdeen actually, Brendan Rodgers, he was in the team, and he had this habit of almost coming back out all the time when he got the ball, and playing almost a safe ball. And I've seen Brendan Rodgers out giving him lots of almost encouragement maybe to go forward, and I think they've been working on that with him for over the last, and he's now doing that very consistently, and that little bit of pace he has too. So he started off decently, the right and the right frame of mind.
There's McKenzie once again having to deal with Kuhn, but he plays it off the Celtic winger and behind for a goal kick. Just as Packy was talking earlier on, there was a poor challenge for Majowski on Scales down in this right wing position, but Majowski quicked off the apology to Scales, and it went unpunished other than the free kick, and Aberdeen will now have the goal kick 6.5 minutes in, and they couldn't have dreamed of being in a better position than this 1 goal advantage they have, thanks to that early Bojan Majowski finish. Duke giving it away though, and doesn't want to be doing that too readily. Barron though quickly in, snapping to win it, and Miovski knocks it back to Polvara in the heart of the Aberdeen midfield. He gets it back from Mackenzie now, back to McDonald, playing in the left centre back alongside Gartenman. Aberdeen just playing the ball about at the back. McDonald then goes down the left. Miovski will shuttle across to try and make something of it. Carter Vickers knocks it down the right hand side, knocked out for a throw in by McGrath, quickly taken into the feet of Kuhn midway inside the Aberdeen half. Celtic looking for a quick equaliser. Hatate's pass was wayward. Devlin gets it to Duke, motoring over the halfway line now, surrounded by 3 Celtic players. Was he touched there? No, he wasn't, as he went to ground, and Callum McGregor picks up and plays it to O'Reilly, halfway line for Johnston. 7.5 played, 1-0 Aberdeen. Early on here as Kuhn has it on the right hand side, clips it over the top of the Aberdeen defence for Johnston, who's in an advanced position. Mackenzie gets the challenge in, plays it off Johnston, and it will be another Aberdeen goal kick. And they've started well, Willie, you'd have to say.
No, they have, and they've started in positive fashion. I think the Leighton Clarkson position is really interesting. He is within touching distance of Miovski, and I can't remember being able to say that on too many occasions so far this season, and it's causing a problem for Celtic. You know, does Callum McGregor go back and pick him up? Does one of the centre backs take the responsibility, come out and try to mark him? And there's been quite a bit of discussion about that within the Celtic players, Carter Vickers and McGregor, just wondering who's going to pick up Clarkson.
Yeah, I think it's got to be McGregor, isn't it? If you step out of a centre back and Miovski's got that a little bit of a pace, and he'll also run down the side of you.
He doesn't want to do it though.
Yeah, well, the thing is, usually the conundrum is who opposition players put on McGregor, and certainly when Celtic are in possession, it looks like that'll be Clarkson that tries to mark him, but going the other way, Aberdeen giving Celtic something to think about. Celtic have again coughed the ball up, and there's a ball forward for Miovski once more, and it was he tugged back there. Referee Don Robertson has a look at it and says no contact, or not enough certainly to make you go to ground, as Miovski claimed. But Celtic have given it away again. There's a bad challenge on McGrath across there, and Celtic actually, Packy, look a wee bit rattled at the start Aberdeen have made.
I think Aberdeen's the sharper team. They've got about Celtic right at the start of this game. They've obviously got their goal, but they're actually winning the 50-50s. That little ball over the top there was again a problem for the 2 centre backs of Celtic. The argument might be, did he do enough to take him out? He kind of almost used his 2 arms, just looking at here on the monitor, and kind of pushed him. So there was an argument that maybe that was a free kick.
Yeah. There was contact. I don't think there was any doubt about it. The referee obviously didn't think there was enough contact. For me, I thought there was enough to put Miovski off.
The free kick comes to nothing as Celtic try and come forward. Good challenge there by Gartenman on Yang, letting him know he's there. Celtic have the throw in quickly taken. They're in a rush to do something about this deficit they've encountered early on here. Aberdeen have won it back though. Duke back to Gartenman just at the edge of his own penalty area. We've played almost 10 minutes now. 1-0 Aberdeen lead thanks to Bojan Miovski's early strike. Taylor has it for Celtic. Knocks it back to Scales just inside his own half. Square for Carter Vickers, crossing the halfway line now into a bit of space. He's allowed to come. Clarkson goes across just to close him down. Out it goes to Kuhn. Right hand side, Mackenzie sticking close to him. Good pass though. Kuhn almost into the path of O'Reilly, who couldn't quite stretch to bring it under control, and it's all the way through to Killaroos in the end in the Aberdeen goal. Aberdeen 1, Celtic 0.
Yeah, Celtic are trying to pass the ball, get control of the game, but Aberdeen's upsetting them, and they're not allowing that to happen, and then playing off that, and they're creating problems at the moment.
Here's McGregor, the Celtic skipper, in for Iwata today. Iwata did a pretty good job, you'd have to say, as his deputy while Callum McGregor was out. Maybe the game at Tynecastle aside, albeit Celtic played that game mostly with 10 men, so it was going to be a difficult task. But McGregor back in that number 6 position for Celtic today as Scales has it, and then plays it forward for Kyogo. First time we mentioned his name as he tries to jink away from Gartenman down the left hand side. Fires a good ball into the middle. McDonald's there, and Kyogo just leaves the clearance and allows it to go out for a Celtic throw-in down near the corner flag on this left hand side for Greg Taylor to take into the feet of Yang. Back with Taylor, 10 yards from the goal line, into the feet of Hatate this time. Can't get turned. Aberdeen quickly into all the challenges so far, and Peter Leven down there patrolling his technical area will be well pleased with the way his side have started. He had his side well drilled for his first game in interim charge last time around against Celtic up at Pittodrie in the 1-1 draw, and as to say, he's got his tactics correct so far. Plenty of time to go, of course, but Aberdeen have started the better of the two sides. But here's Scales looking for Kyogo. Kyogo's good first touch, good shot as well, palmed away by Rose, and then chested back to him by Gartenman. But Kyogo really got a hold of that shot, having brought it down brilliantly with a first touch and then rifled it towards goal, but Rose able to make the save.
Yeah, just before that the crowd were a bit frustrated because he had made the initial run, Kyogo, and Scales had the ball and he didn't pick him up, and it came back to Scales then, and he had the same opportunity, except this time it was a little bit more of a diagonal. It was a brilliant ball, and Kyogo just controlled it beautifully and had the shot. I think it was straight at Kellaroos, and he probably would be very disappointed if he lost that one.
Barra winning it in the middle of the park. There's a Celtic player down holding his face. I think it's Kuhn who's gone down just in that little melee that was taking place a moment ago, and Don Robertson has stopped the game just to see if he requires treatment, which he does, and the Celtic physio team will come on, and a chance for Celtic just to regroup after a lightning Aberdeen start here.
Yeah, really good Aberdeen start. I think that was a good opportunity for Kyogo, and what a delightful touch it was to set it up for himself. Although we'd have to question Angus MacDonald in terms of his positioning. He allows him to drift in behind in a dangerous situation, and I think it's fortunate for Aberdeen that the angle was really tight, and the shot, which was very good, was well saved by Roos, but you would expect him to save it just because the angle was so tight. But no, Aberdeen have started with a lot of confidence, defending well, but also whenever they've got the ball, passing it with confidence. And I think Celtic are looking just a little bit off their game just now,
rattled, I would say. They haven't been allowed to settle into the game, and I did say that first goal, Wooly, would have been a vital one. Aberdeen gets it, that gives them huge confidence, and they know that they just have to make sure that they defend well now for the next 15-20 minutes and see how this game's going to pan out. Celtic will get chances, there's no question, in this game, but the way that they've gone about it, Aberdeen, so far has been excellent, and fair play to Peter Leven. He's got the best out of this group of players, set them up well, they're well organised, but they're also very, very intimidating on Celtic. They haven't allowed them to control the game, which is a critical part. If Celtic control the game against you, then they become a good team. If you can upset them, that's the issue, and so far Celtic's been upset.
It's the Aberdeen fans you can hear making a racket just now as Kuhn continues to receive treatment. It was a bit of a head clash with Jack McKenzie, but Kuhn certainly coming off worst. It was completely accidental off the ball, as we see another rerun of that Majowski opening goal. Really well taken in customary fashion from the North Macedonian, and 24 he's got for the season. It's a really brilliant return for a team that has not been firing on all cylinders by any stretch of the imagination, and Kuhn's now been helped from the field of play. Aberdeen, as Peter even mentioned pre-match, they are a decent little run, unbeaten in 4, won a couple of those, drawn the other 2, just one defeat in 6. They are going to, of course, so they have finished in the bottom 6, but looking to end the season on a high. I was reading a couple of comments from Aberdeen players during the week, Leighton Clarkson being one of them, that you could turn a bad season into a great season by winning the Scottish Cup. Well, there's a bit of work to do to achieve that, of course, but they've given themselves a really good chance as Kuhn comes off, and looks like his nose might well be bleeding here, and that's going to have to be stemmed before he comes back on. A change of shirt is going to be required as well as Aberdeen restart, as Duke coming down the right hand side up against Taylor, up at the edge of the box, into the box now. Duke fires it across goal, Scales in the way, and eventually the offside flag goes up against Duke in the end to bring it back for a Celtic free kick. We've played 16 minutes here after a couple of minutes hiatus there for the Kuhn treatment, and it's Aberdeen 1, Celtic 0.
Yeah, it's a great outball though, wasn't it, Wally? Down that side for Duke's pace up against Greg Taylor, and he gets himself into the box and cuts that almost across the 6-yard box. So unfortunately for them, the player offside, and Scales cleared also. But it's a good tactic down that side.
Scales has it midway inside his own half, forward for Yang, closely marked there by Nicky Devlin, but it breaks back to Scales and now Carter Vickers. And the Celtic fans largely stunned into silence by the start. Well, both sides are made, to be honest. Aberdeen with a really positive start, and their own team slightly shocked by it, I think, as Barron with a maybe slightly needless flick in the middle of the park. Kyogo's taking a dunt in there as well, and he's just getting himself to his feet. Aberdeen in possession, and they do look the better side just in these opening stages as Hatate makes the challenge there, and McKenzie knocks it out of play. It will be an Aberdeen throw, and Kuhn's back on after that lengthy treatment to the face knock, and Aberdeen take the throw in. 17.5 minutes played. Aberdeen 1, Celtic 0 in the Scottish Cup semi-final, the first of 2 this weekend. We'll have live coverage of the other one tomorrow between Rangers and Hearts as Devlin runs into Yang but manages to recover and gets it back to Gartenman midway inside his own half, just clips up to the halfway line. Clarkson leaves it for Majowski, it comes back to Clarkson, and then Majowski tries to nudge it back to his teammate McGregor's in the way, but he just rather dwells on the ball and allows Majowski to make the challenge. And Barron still had possession for Aberdeen, but Duke was fouled, and the referee gives a free kick rather than allowing the advantage, and Aberdeen will just allows some of their bigger players from the back to go up, and a chance to put the ball in towards the edge of the penalty area here, and in search of a second goal.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a struggle for Celtic, isn't it? I mean, their control, their passing, their understanding just hasn't been there. So, you know, Aberdeen maybe can take, you know, there's
a clash off the ball here as the free kick was taken down the channel, and it's McGrath who's actually been penalised up against Kyogo there. Both players are lying on the deck. I mean, I'm not sure we're going to get a replay here to see if we can establish what actually happened there.
I just wonder whether he's kind of blocked them off, Jimmy McGrath. They ran into each other, but
I mean, Duke was a mile offside there. I'm not sure what the intention was. The McGrath's still down, but Duke, who took possession of the ball, I don't know if he was the original target, but he was so far offside. Kyogo trying to get McGrath back on his feet. McGrath not interested in his helping hand. Both are back up now as Celtic come forward looking for the equalising goal, but it's good defending again by McDonald up against O'Reilly, and really nothing is coming off at all for Celtic. And of course, Packy, you'd expect at some stage them to begin to click and come into the game, but at the moment it's Aberdeen who are making all the running.
Yeah, and Matt O'Reilly making that's a couple of times he's made that run almost an inside right channel, just a little diagonal penetrating run, and it's up to McDonald and Polvara to deal with that. They've done it okay in that instance. The first one, I think that just the pass was overhit, so that's again Celtic trying to get in down that sort of almost right hand side with Matt O'Reilly getting himself into the box.
I think the thing as well is Aberdeen's play has been good, it's been accurate. You know, they've managed to play with a certain calmness and coolness, and you know, when they're on the ball at the back, they're building the game up and they're finding their target, and you know, Celtic are struggling to cope. Aberdeen are, and I didn't think I would be saying this, but they're dominating possession, although
Kyogo's nicked the ball on McDonald. Kyogo could be in for the equaliser here. Great challenge, Garman on the follow-up. Oh, the equaliser from Nicholas Kuhn. An absolute nightmare for Angus McDonald at the back for Aberdeen. He has completely sold the jerseys there as Kyogo nicked it off him. He was denied by the sliding challenge of Gartman, but Kuhn was on hand to slide it home with the unguarded goal. And out of nothing, Celtic have a leveller. It's Aberdeen 1, Celtic 1.
Well, you just can't do that, can you? Give Celtic those opportunities. You're in a great position in the game, doing brilliantly well, and then suddenly the ball gets stuck under Angus McDonald's feet when he's got it. He knows that Kyogo's going to come and close him down. And they'll check it to see maybe if there was a free kick in it, but I don't think it was. I think he's just got caught. He rolled his foot over the ball, will he? You know, in that position, get the ball away quickly to the goalkeeper at least. And that big mistake.
No, huge. It's huge. It's turning this game round, hasn't it? Aberdeen doing so well, you know, dominating possession, looking confident, but maybe overconfidence there from Angus McDonald, who's been, you know, excellent since coming back into the game. But you can't give Kyogo that opportunity. You know, he wraps his foot round him, he gets a little touch on it. McDonald goes to ground. No way is it a free kick. Goal goes right through. A good block from Garteman, but Kuhn following up. What a blow that is.
It's unbelievable. He takes a touch and then he takes another touch, but he rolls his foot over the ball. I don't know whether he knew that Kyogo was closing down, but he must do, because he knows that that's Kyogo's type of game, and you just cannot take that sort of chance and ends up then losing it.
It's just the third goal of the season for Kuhn. He came on at Pittodrie to score his first Celtic goal, and he has levelled things up just as he did on that afternoon back in February. He has made it 1-1. He has cancelled out Majowski's goal, as he did on that occasion as well. And Aberdeen, for all their hard work early on, it has just been undone by a moment of really just almost, I can't quite understand what McDonald was thinking about in that position, dwelling on the ball, allowing Kyogo to make the challenge. And although he was denied well by Garteman, there was no chance. But here come Aberdeen again. McGrath could be in behind once more for Majowski, but out comes Joe Hart to claim the ball at the edge of his box. But it's the same kind of ball that time from McGrath for Majowski, and Celtic defence was once more under pressure.
But it's a movement of Majowski. You know, that's why he's a top quality striker. You know, he's on the move. He's moving away from Carter Vickers. We know Carter Vickers is a really good centre back, but he's watching the ball. Carter Vickers watching the ball, and Majowski's drifted, you know, in behind him, and you know, it's a decent pass in, just a little bit over hit, and Hart is off his ground. But another big chance, another well worked move from Aberdeen, and just falling a little bit short.
Here's a Tati midway inside the Aberdeen half. Celtic now having been given that lifeline back into the game through, well, good work from Kyogo in the first instance, you have to say. Is, like you mentioned, it's just very much what he's about. He doesn't give defenders a moment's peace, but McDonald had more than enough time to deal with the situation. The pass could have gone back to the goalkeeper, it could have gone up the park, but instead he took his time, had it nicked off him, and Celtic took full advantage in the end through Nicholas Kuhn's first Scottish Cup goal. And here comes Celtic once more. Kyogo beaten to it by Devlin at the edge of the Aberdeen box. McGregor picking up just at the edge of the centre circle, tries to thread one through there for Yang. In steps Devlin once more, just to make sure the pass didn't get through to him. Duke's challenged well and he's lost out. And Aberdeen once more in the back foot. Devlin goes to ground, and a bit of pressure from Yang there, buys the free kick just at the edge of his own penalty area. One thing you'd have to say, Willie, Aberdeen, if at all possible, need to almost put that mistake out of their minds and just get back to what they've been doing for the rest of the opening 20 minutes and try and just play their own game. Yeah,
well, they have to. You know, that's a challenge, and probably easier said than done. And in particular, Angus McDonald's got to get his head sorted out. You know, you can make mistakes. Every player can make a mistake in a game, and this is a crucial game. That was a huge error on his part, but he's got to put it behind him, and he's got to get onto the game, as his teammates have got to do, because they started this game ever so well, and Celtic still not really hitting the heights that you expect them to hit.
Taylor's given that straight to Barr in the middle of the park. Did it come off McGregor's arm? No, but it's picked up by Duke, right hand side. Scales has come out to meet him. That might come through to Clarkson, right hand side of the box, just tried to dink it into the 6-yard box, but Joe Hart with an easy catch before Majowski could make anything of it. He just rolls a short ball to McGregor, who drives his side up towards the halfway line. Kuhn has made the run out on the right hand side up against McKenzie, the Celtic goal scorer, looking to take him on the outside. Ball in is just behind Hattati. Yang will go and try and retrieve it, but he'll not get there before Duke on the right hand side now for Aberdeen. Yang gets a little touch, but Duke's away from him, and Taylor still is going Duke. Majowski makes the run. He's the only Aberdeen player in advance of Duke. Instead he comes back to Clarkson and into the midfield for Polvara. Out to the left hand side now for McKenzie, just inside his own half. McDonald takes a touch just inside his own half and then plays it to McGrath, slides it back to Gartenman. Out to the right for Duke. In steps Taylor, though, knocks it out of play midway, or beyond the midway point actually, this first half. 26 minutes in at this stage, and it's Aberdeen 1, Celtic 1. The goal scorers Majowski in 3 minutes, and in 21 minutes in, Nicholas Kuhn levelling things up for Celtic. Throw into Aberdeen, just in front of Brendan Rodgers' technical area, taken by Devlin. Back to Garteman, just inside his own half, goes all the way back to Kelleros, just outside his own penalty area, all in blue this afternoon. Kelleros back to Garteman, right hand side, clips it up to Majowski, tries to flick it on, doesn't come off, and it'll break for Hatate. Barron there battling away to get back at him, he's hurt himself in the challenge, and ball's played forward. McGregor picking up, slides it out of play for an Aberdeen throw. Barron still down, and in the absence of Graham Shinney, they'll be hoping he's able to shake that off. He's back on his feet, he's fine. Conor Barron looks to be heading for the Pittodrie exit in the summer with his contract expiring. Interest seemingly from Italy in the shape of Cagliari and Sassuolo, I noticed, and Swansea also linked with the midfielder. But at the moment he's concentrating on trying to get Aberdeen to a Scottish Cup final. Duke with a challenge, but it breaks for Hatate, and now it's Yang, left hand side, back to Hatate, midway inside the Aberdeen half, left hand side. Plays it infield for Johnston. Johnston with a little dip of the shoulder, moves away from McGrath, 25 yards from goal, out to the right hand side for Kuhn, up against McKenzie. Johnston again in support, comes off McKenzie, back out to Kuhn on the right hand side of the box. Polvara's with him. He'll come back to McGregor, always available for the pass. He plays a little 1-2 with O'Reilly, still right hand side for Celtic. Now back with Kuhn, midway inside the Aberdeen half. Into the box it comes, Garteman with a header, unchallenged away. Majowski tries to chest it back to Polvara. Carter Vickers was there, hammered forward, and all the way through to Joe Hart, who's outside his area and takes a touch before playing it to McGregor once more. Celtic looking to try and get into the rhythm. It's Johnston coming down the right hand side. McGrath tracks him. Back with O'Reilly now, midway inside the Aberdeen half. Out to Johnston once more. McGrath closing him down. Kuhn back to Johnston. Celtic enjoying a bit of possession here. Taylor's come into a central area and finds Johnston on the right hand side. Taylor once more back to McGregor. Carter Vickers for Scales, just inside the Aberdeen half. Better possession is from Celtic back eight, but they just need to bide their time before the opening presents itself.
Absolutely, you expect that at the start of the game that they would have that little bit more possession, but they didn't have, and that's why they struggled in the game. But now they've settled into it a little bit better, and that was a good period for them. I think they've knocked probably about 12 passes together, and that just then allows them to settle into it.
Celtic throw in right hand side, quickly taken by Kuhn, back to Johnston. Aberdeen struggling to get a touch on the ball just at the moment, as Carter Vickers has it just inside the Aberdeen half. 29 played, Aberdeen 1, Celtic 1 in the Scottish Cup semi-final, as Kuhn, who drew Celtic level, plays the 1-2 with Johnston on the edge of the box. McKenzie, I think, played it off Kuhn as he went for the return pass there, and indeed the official over on the far side signals for a goal kick to Aberdeen. Almost a half an hour played, and it's level at 1 each.
Yeah, I mean, Celtic getting plenty of the ball in the last 5 minutes or so, but you know, Aberdeen's shape's pretty good. They're not really looking as though they're going to breach the Aberdeen defence, and you know, perhaps at this stage of the game then Aberdeen taking a little bit of breather, quite happy to sit back there, happy that Celtic have got that possession, you know, although you know the way they started the game, they were disrupting that possession, and maybe Peter Leven will be hoping that they can get back to that kind of a situation where you know, Celtic are not stringing these passes together because they've been put under pressure.
McKenzie looking for Barron, he just gets there ahead of Johnson, but he fouled the Celtic full-back in the view of the referee. I'm not sure about that one, but the free kick goes Celtic's way just inside their own half. Barron not happy.
Yeah, I agree with you, Al. I didn't think there was much in it. I think it was kind of almost a 50-50 who gets to the ball first, but Celtic get the free kick, keeps them in possession.
And Aberdeen just need to try, as difficult as it might be, to regain the stranglehold almost they had in the opening 20 minutes, but Celtic have begun to find a bit of a better tempo as Yang has it on the left hand side up against Duke. Good challenge by Duke. Yang goes down. I think there was a coming together certainly, but Duke took the ball and Aberdeen have it, tried to move forward. Yang still down. Aberdeen have it through Polvara, and now Barron just inside their own half, back to Devlin. Yang's back on his feet chasing down Devlin. Barron brings it forward right hand side, tries to play it infield, but Scales read it and Devlin's out of position now. Celtic can move it early. Johnston picks up from O'Reilly, midway inside the Aberdeen half. Celtic looking to put their noses in front for the first time in the game, but Johnson's pass to Coombs, a poor one, and it's all the way behind for an Aberdeen goal kick. 31 played, Aberdeen 1, Celtic 1.
Yeah, Duke did really well up against Yang, and you know, he goes into a tackle, Yang goes down as if he's poleaxed. You know what I mean? Just get up and get on with it. You know, we talked about it last week too. Was it Silva with Rangers? You know,
yeah.
Just.
I know, but it's hard to take that out of the player, isn't it? If it's ingrained in them. Listen, Duke does the same. You don't have to, you know, put too much pressure on him or too much contact, and he'll go down. It's something we don't like seeing in the game, but you know, unfortunately, you get the odd incident.
Yeah, it's pretty infuriating to watch, isn't it? But it has crept into the game. There's a ball into the Celtic penalty area. Carter Vickers trying to take command. He does, in the sense that he prevents again to Majowski, but he has conceded the corner. And Aberdeen with an opportunity here to get bodies into the box. They haven't been up the field all that often in the last 15 minutes or so, but they have a chance here as Leighton Clarkson goes out to that far side, the Aberdeen left, to take the corner kick as they try to get back in front. So the scoreline poised at 1 each just at the moment, 32 played.
Seriously, the two Celtic centre backs, that's an easy situation to take care of, you know. Scales just coming away in on top of Carter Vickers. All Scales has to do is go back the way.
Clarkson in swinger from the left hand side all the way to the back post. Duke can't get it, and it's curled all the way behind in the end, and that's disappointing from an Aberdeen point of view. Haven't been able to make anything of that set piece, and it's a goal kick quickly taken by Joe Hart for Scales into McGregor midway inside his own half. The Celtic captain looking to add to his fairly impressive haul of 21 trophies, looking to make it 23 by the end of the season, which would see him overtaking Scott Brown among others. McGrath hits the deck, Clarkson picks up but can't find the pass to Duke, and that's given us a free kick as Don Robertson brings it back. There again, I didn't think there was all that much in that challenge as McGrath went to ground, but Aberdeen getting the benefit of the doubt there from the referee, and a free kick in the halfway line, more or less.
Yeah, it's good refereeing though. You know, he lets the play as Aberdeen were trying to break away, and then it breaks down, and he gives a free kick.
Gives McKenzie left hand side, early ball in, Carter Vickers is there, McKenzie won't quite collect that again as Kuhn just knocks it out of play. I think he's suggesting he's knocked it out of play because Johnson's gone down, but
yeah, he has.
I'm not sure.
He's tweaked his groin.
He was holding his hamstring, groin, hamstring, somewhere there. It was an awkward slip. I thought that he slipped, but he's obviously felt as though he's felt something as he's went down. He's back up, hopefully he's okay. Yeah, I think it is looking like maybe the inside of his leg there that he's got a little bit of problem with, but you know, again, good ball in the back of that Celtic defence for McKenzie to latch onto.
Well, I think Celtic were looking to get the ball back, certainly their fans, where Aberdeen tried to make something of it in an attacking sense, can't do so, and that's why the boos are ringing around the stadium, because certainly the ball had been knocked out for potential treatment to Alistair Johnston, and although that wasn't required, I think the Celtic fans were looking for Aberdeen to do the sporting thing, but it is a Scottish Cup semi-final, and plenty at stake as Clarkson picks up possession midway inside the Celtic half. Duke brings it under control right hand side, Devlin ahead of him, Yang trying to stop him. Yang gets the challenge in, but it will be another Aberdeen corner, this time right hand side. 35 played, 10 to the break, then Aberdeen 1, Celtic 1.
Yeah, Celtic creating no problems down in the left back position. Greg Taylor picks it up, tries a little dinky pass down the line to Tati, was never really on. Play it up, and Kyogo should have been the one that's running down the channel for a long ball to get him high up the pitch, and now they've given away a corner, which is going to be taken by Jack McKenzie, the left footer, right hand side, the in-swinger, as Aberdeen have got lots of bodies inside that 6-yard box. Looking to put pressure here on Joe Hart. 1-1 it stands as McKenzie prepares to swing it in towards the back post. Carter Vickers the dominant presence though inside that penalty area, heads it clear. Kuhn helps it on. McGrath will try and keep Aberdeen's possession, but he has to go back the way to Devlin, who goes all the way back to the Aberdeen goalkeeper Kelly Rose, who's another player out of contract and looking like he'll be leaving the club. Scales gets on the end of his clearance, but it falls to Paul Vara midway inside the Celtic half, looking for options, not too many of them available. Devlin is one, he plays it off
Kuhnu's popped up on this left-hand side for the moment, out for an Aberdeen throw-in on the halfway line. 1-1 it stands with the half-time 9 minutes away, with a bit of injury time to be added, no doubt, for a couple of stoppages we've had.
I think Willie'd be very happy with that first half performance from Aberdeen, albeit the mistake from McDonald to allow Celtic back into it, but it's been a good, aggressive first half display by them. I haven't seen it for many times.
Well, without doubt, Packy, but you know, Celtic have been poor. You know, I would say that there's a mixture there, Aberdeen being, you know, at the top of their game and Celtic nowhere near the top of their game, and Aberdeen putting them under quite a bit of pressure, forward thinking as well, no thoughts of just sitting back, you know, trying to take the game forward, sometimes push back, yeah, absolutely, but always if they get the opportunity to take it to Celtic, and Celtic aren't coping with it.
There's Polvara, closed down though by O'Reilly, and it breaks for Kuhn, who's still on the left hand side. Polvara trying to win it back, but it's lost out to Kuhn, who plays it forward to Hatate, left hand side of the penalty area, out to Taylor, who's got time to bring it under control, back to Hatate. He was looking for McGregor to step onto it, he didn't quite read that, and Duke did, and he steps away looking to test the pace here of Johnston, who was down a moment ago with that injury, but Johnston does brilliantly to ward off the threat there from Duke, wins possession back and begins another Celtic attack as O'Reilly has it out to the right hand side now, for Kuhn, who's back out there, back with now it's Yang into the feet of McGregor, but 25 yards from goal. Might fancy the shot here. McGregor over the top from distance. It was opening up for him there, Callum McGregor, but he just couldn't keep the shot down. 38 played, Aberdeen 1, Celtic 1.
Yeah, you can't give him that room, especially coming in on that left foot from the right hand side, and he just, the space was there, take a touch, struck it at just about a yard over the crossbar.
Probably doesn't score enough, Callum McGregor, if you're looking to pick any faults in his game.
I'm not sure if that's fair on him. I think he's come up with some big goals at times, and that maybe because he plays in that deeper position, he's not getting as many chances as others.
2 for the season, that's a decent return, is it?
No, but he's been out injured, who remember?
For 4
but
games.
But he has come up with big goals,
without doubt.
Two big key goals.
In any case, it's 1-1 here with 6.5 minutes left of the 45. As Celtic have it over on the right hand side. Kuhn gets a break of the ball, rather fortuitous. He finds O'Reilly at the edge of the box. He miscontrols it, but still manages to stab it back to Johnston. Back with O'Reilly, under pressure from Polvara. Keeps the ball, the Celtic midfielder. Such a good season he's had for the most part. Johnston into McGregor, 30 yards from goal, into the feet of Hatate. Back with the captain, McGregor. Plays it square for Taylor. Taylor out to Yang on the left, up against Devlin here. In towards the edge of the penalty area he comes. Yang then lays it back to Taylor. Aberdeen camped inside their own penalty area. Johnston now 20 yards from goal. Goes for goal, just wide from Johnston. Just a yard or so past Kellerose's right hand post. He wasn't getting to it if it had crept inside, but the fullback just misses, and it remains Aberdeen 1, Celtic 1.
I'll give the benefit to the goalkeeper. He knew it was going wide. It was a good yard wide of the right hand post, and he didn't really dive or didn't go for it, but it was good sort of build-up play from Celtic, taking their time, patience, working the ball, and eventually creating the space for Johnson to drive and get a shot away.
It was always going away for the goal as well. You know, he's hit it with the right foot. And that's taken it away from the far post. So I think I'm with you on this occasion. I think Kelrose knew that it was going past.
Aberdeen have a free kick. Devlin was fouled by Yang, and it's about 10 yards, maybe 15 inside the Celtic half. And Clarkson and Mackenzie are over this for an opportunity to try and cause Celtic a problem or two by putting it into a dangerous area. Celtic holding a high line as Clarkson with not a great ball, but it's going to come all the way to the back post. Garterman denied by Joe Hart. Big save by Joe Hart as Garterman thought he was about to put Aberdeen back in front. No idea how it managed to get through to him, because it wasn't a great delivery from Clarkson, but Joe Hart out to make a huge save to keep the scorelines level.
Listen, it's just about the worst free kick that you could possibly imagine from Lane Clarkson. Turns out to be a fantastic opportunity for Garterman at the back post. It deceived everyone, the Celtic defenders, allowing it to go at the angle towards the left hand side, and it's a big opportunity. But hey, Joe Hart comes out, he gets his angles right, he makes himself big, and it's a good save.
Clarkson's corner, left-hand side, towards the back post. Gartman gets first to it, headed away though by McGregor. McGrath picks up and goes back to the halfway line to Devlin. Well, Aberdeen with a huge opportunity there just before the interval to go back in front, but Joe Hart, who with last season's Scottish Cup victory became only the third man to win all 6 domestic trophies in England and Scotland, along with Kenny Dalglish and Andy Kanchelskis, coming up with a really big moment to ensure his side stay level for the moment. Celtic trying to break there, but that's gone behind for an Aberdeen goal kick. Some frustration round about us amongst the Celtic fans, but they certainly, despite having got the leveller, Packy, haven't been at the standard that you would expect of Celtic.
No, absolutely, and you know, when I'm looking at Keller-Roos, has he had big saves to make? Joe Hart's got the biggest save there. That was a brilliant save coming out, spreading himself as Wooly described, but Keller-Roos hasn't had those big saves, so Celtic have struggled in this game so far, you've got to say. But when you can't afford to give them the goals, oh, here's a chance again.
Yeah, it's Kuhn once more, right hand side, a pretty tame effort in the end. Kyogo was making up some good ground in the middle if he'd have been able to find him, but the shot in the end from Kuhn was a rather weak one, an easy save again that time from Keller-Roos.
He's got to find him. He's in down the right hand side. Hesitation again. I think it was McKenzie this time, and Kuhn picking it up, and Kyogo was in. Just the quality of the ball across that 6-yard box wasn't there.
Do you think he was trying to find him, or was he going for goal?
No, I think he was trying to find him. I think that just the quality was missing.
Yeah, it wasn't clear. It ended up pretty comfortably in the arms of Keller-Roos. It was either a poor shot or a poor attempted cross, certainly. Duke has it down near the corner flag. Yang steps in. He's lost it. Duke still battling away. Clarkson's also trying to help his teammate, and then the assistant referee, who's only a yard away from the action, signals for a free kick in Celtic's favour. Greg Taylor, looking to take it quickly, is knocked to the ground, and eventually Celtic will be able to take the free kick, but he's going to leave it to Scales instead to get a bit of distance in this, perhaps. Greg Taylor, 90 seconds of the 45 minutes left. There will be some added on time, maybe 3 or 4 minutes, I would imagine, as Scales prepares to take this free kick from deep inside his own territory. 1-1 it stands. Majowski and Kuhn with the goals in that order. Taylor heads it towards Hattati, who hasn't really stamped his authority in the game so far. His return to the Celtic team has been huge, but not so far this afternoon. Majowski claimed for a handball against Scales just inside the penalty area. He's absolutely adamant. Don Robertson's not interested at the moment, but of course VAR will check it.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. He's in that position down the side of the centre half again, and he plays it up on to Scales' arm. Scales' arm out would be the question, but VAR will check it. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, VAR are checking it. It's Greg Aitken is the man in charge in the VAR room, as we see a rerun here, and it might give us an insight as to what the decision is going to be. Oh, it definitely comes off an outstretched arm there of Liam Scales. Is it inside the penalty area? Oh, that's a clear handball, isn't it?
It's a handball.
Whether inside the box.
Is it? Yeah. Be interesting.
Willie,
moment.
Your own thoughts?
Yeah, I'm not getting a very clear replay here. I think you guys have got a better TV than me in front of you.
Packy insisted on a better monitor than you.
It's one of them situations where you're running, Wooly, with, you know, and
but
you're not intentionally going to hand the ball, but you're running. You have to use your arms to run.
Yeah.
And does he? You know, it does hit his arm, but is it out, or is it the motion of running?
The ball bounces up as well, doesn't it? It takes a nasty bounce off the ground. But what I'm saying, Packy, is that the space is there for Majowski to run into again. They're leaving the space for him, and then it's a recovery situation for Scales. He's got to recover and get himself back as we wait for this decision. It's taken quite some time to make the decision, and it's play on.
Play on.
Yeah. I just think the motion of running and his hands down at his side, and it hits his arm, which he obviously didn't. It wasn't intentional, but was it out from his body? Probably not far enough, maybe. But it is a big moment in the game.
I gather it was outside the penalty area, which is why it's not been given.
Right.
It was a handball. It wasn't inside the box.
So was it not a free kick then?
No, they can't give free kicks retrospectively.
All right, okay.
So it's play on. But it is a big moment.
It's not a big moment because it's outside the box.
Yeah, but
you know that's the point.
Fractionally, wasn't it? Anyway, we are into 5 minutes of added on time here. Aberdeen 1, Celtic 1, and McGregor wins possession inside his own half, and back with Carter Vickers at the edge of his box. Liam Scales breathing a sigh of relief, no doubt.
But Willie's absolutely right. We'll come back to it. Sorry, Celtic on the attack.
And here's Johnston, right hand side for Celtic, up against McKenzie, into the feet of Hatate, just inside the box. Out now to Kuhn, right hand side, plays it into the penalty area. It's a difficult one for Celtic to make anything of. Taylor goes down right at the edge of the box. Don Robertson not interested in awarding him a free kick, and Aberdeen clear the lines. What were you going to say there, Pac?
Well, no, what I was going to say is that you know, Scales is on the left hand side. You kill that space. Carter Vickers on the opposite side, he covers you, he gives the balance if the ball's played over your head, and you kill the space and you won the ball first. You don't allow a centre forward who's got pace to run down that side of you and get himself almost inside the box, nearly giving away a penalty. And that Wooly described it perfectly. And he's a centre half, so it's not for me, but that's always defend that side of the forward, Wooly, when the ball's on that side.
For a goalkeeper, you summed that up really well.
I used to call people into that position before it happened.
Celtic have a free kick here at the left hand side, and Nicky Devlin's going to get a talking to here from the referee for his challenge on Yang. And no cards shown as yet in the game. It's been played in a good spirit certainly, and it's level pegging into the 3rd minute of added on time. Scales plays it forward to O'Reilly. Back with Scales on the halfway line. Clarkson just looking to close off the angles for the pass, so he has to go back the way to Carter Vickers, and then it's back with Scales once more. In the SPFL Team of the Year, given away by Kyogo. Hatate doing his countryman a favour there. Just again, it's picked up though by Aberdeen. Not sure what Gartman's doing in that midfield position, but it's come out to the right hand side now for Duke. Can't get away from Taylor. It'll be an Aberdeen throw in.
Well offside.
Aberdeen throw midway inside the Celtic half with about a minute and a half of the 5 left, but I think we're going to have a little bit more than the 5 actually, because of that VAR delay as well, which came just on the cusp of the 45-minute mark. Nicky Devlin then to take the throw, and it's actually nearer in line with the edge of the 18-yard box. He throws it into the feet of Duke, who's been grappled there by Yang. Back with Devlin, low ball in. Majowski can't make anything of it, but it is going to be an Aberdeen corner, and Aberdeen are ending the first half as they started it, which is on the front foot, looking to get back into the lead in these closing minutes.
Yeah, and it's not Celtic's 40 set pieces. They haven't got the height in the team. They've got O'Reilly, Carter Vickers, Scales probably, maybe Johnson to a certain point, but the rest aren't the biggest.
So McKenzie, right hand side with the left foot's about to swirl this into the penalty area, looking to put Aberdeen back in front here. In it comes, Joe Hart comes, gets a fist to it, and it's out to the right hand side as Hatate and Duke chase it. Duke shoulders Hatate to the ground, no free kick. Hatate gets the challenge in, and it's going to be a throw in the end to Celtic. The outcome of that, and Aberdeen not making the most of those set pieces that they've had in this first period, you'd have to say. Back with Carter Vickers inside his own penalty area, plays it short to Scales. Played now 5 minutes. As I say, I think it's going to be at least another 1 minute. Scales plays it square to Carter Vickers, still inside his own half, but coming up to the halfway line now and crossing it. Carter Vickers looking to try and create something for Celtic, but he rather sold his winger short there. Yang couldn't make it, and out of play for a throw into Celtic.
Sorry, Al, but Celtic passing is deplorable. I mean, that's an easy pass there from Carter Vickers, isn't it? Just to find his teammate, and he leaves it short. How many times have they done it? Almost in every build-up they've left some kind of a pass short, or it's been overhit, or it's not been hit hard enough. It's not been a great performance from Celtic.
Here's Kuhn on the left hand side into the penalty area for Taylor, gets it back to Kuhn, sliding challenge from Duke. Kuhn keeps it in play, pokes it back towards Taylor, left-hand side, about 10 yards from the goal line. Kuhn again, but he's coughed it up to Majowski. And there is the half-time whistle. A really intriguing, exhilarating first period in Aberdeen. You'd have to say, on the whole, the better side, and getting the opening goal in just 3 minutes after terrific play between McGrath and Clarkson, and then a lovely ball in behind Carter Vickers for Majowski, who, despite Joe Hart's best efforts, was able to find the finish for a 24th goal of the season. And Aberdeen bossed the opening stages, and despite efforts from both Yang and Kyogo, Aberdeen were good value for their advantage. But 21 minutes in, an inexplicable error from Angus MacDonald at the back, just dwelling in possession, allowing Kyogo to nick it off him. And although Kyogo was then denied by a sliding challenge from Gartham, it broke kindly for Nicholas Kuhn, and with Kelly Rose out of position, he was able to slide into an empty net to make it one each. Aberdeen eventually recovered their composure and probably still had the better of the opportunities. Hart required for a great save to deny Stephen Gartman 4 minutes before the interval. There was a handball right on the cusp of the 45-minute mark by Liam Scales, which was decreed to be a handball by VAR, but crucially it was just outside the penalty area, and so of course no penalty was awarded. And that is why at half-time at Hampden, the Scottish Cup semi-final, it's Aberdeen 1, Celtic 1.
The Scottish Cup.
Live on Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
Where Scottish football lives.
On BBC iPlayer.
66 million years ago, an asteroid was on a direct collision course with the Earth. Out of the darkness that followed, emerged a group that went on to dominate the world.
Mammals with David Attenborough.
In this series, we'll reveal the secrets behind their success.
It's a sperm whale.
Wow! And the challenges they now face in a world dominated by the most successful mammal of all, us.
Look at that!
Mammals. Watch on BBC iPlayer.
You're listening to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. First up for us today, the first of the Scottish Cup semi-finals. Aberdeen against Celtic, one apiece there. When the game is done and dusted at the National Stadium, we'll cross to Tannadice on the day that Dundee United could all but secure the championship title. Lots to come on Sports Sound between now and 7 o'clock. Tom English is alongside Willie Miller and Pat Bonner at Hampden. Tom, it's been a fantastic first half. As Al said there, really intriguing. What have you made of it?
Yeah, I found it really interesting, Kenny. I thought the goal cracked the game wide open after 3 minutes. Excellently taken goal. Lovely pass from Clarkson, lovely run in behind Carter Vickers by Majowski, and a nice finish. And that's kind of, for the neutral, that's perfect, isn't it? That's a perfect start, because if Celtic get the first, they're probably going to win this game and win it comfortably. So that goal has kind of rattled Celtic. They've had a lot of the ball, a fair amount of the ball. Celtic, they haven't done a huge amount with it. Their goal was, fair play to Kyogo for closing MacDonald down. But it's a mess of a goal as far as Aberdeen is concerned. And since then, it's kind of 50-50. Majowski, as the boys were saying in commentary, Majowski is a double handful for Scales and for Carter Vickers. I mean, he's looking really, really sharp. And Aberdeen have their attitude in this game is the polar opposite to the League Cup final against Rangers, when they came in passive and almost apologetic. They didn't fire a shot until it was far, far too late. And this game, they've gone for it from the get-go. And Peter Leaven, I take my hat off to him today and previous days, because he's accumulated an amount of points that's probably going to keep them safe in the league, and now he's really putting it up to the best team in the country.
Yeah, he set them up really well today, Tom. I'm just watching the highlights coming into the studio there. Right before half-time, there was that big call. We thought it could have been a penalty to Aberdeen, the handball from Scales, but a judge just to been outside of the area. Again, I see a lot of people commenting. James McFadden, as part of our television coverage today, he said, look, for him it wasn't a handball, but it was certainly a very tense couple of moments where the VAR team came to the final decision.
Yeah, look, if it's outside the box, it's outside the box. So no penalty. I think the handball, if it was inside the box and the penalty was given for that, I think it would have been harsh.
Yeah.
But it's not, and therefore it's a moot point. It's been interesting. Not long before that, Gartenmann had a really good chance with that free kick that carried in behind defenders and attackers from Clarkson. Kind of a bizarre episode, really. It carries all the way to Gartenmann, and it's a fine save from Joe Hart. I think Aberdeen are putting so much into this game. I think they've surprised Celtic with their intent, with their aggression, with their belief, and it's made for a really, really intriguing semi-final.
We spoke, Willie, before the game about the importance of the start, in particular for Aberdeen today, as Tom mentioned there. Brendan Rodgers has been saying in recent weeks, this is a time of season that Celtic come alive, but my goodness, that defence was sleeping. 2 minutes gone, and again Miovski showing his class there.
Yeah, he showed his coolness and his calmness to make sure that the ball ended up in the back of the net. Took a little deflection off of Joe Hart, who came out and tried to narrow the angle a little bit, make himself big. But it was good build-up playing McGrath and Clarkson. McGrath coming in off the left-hand side, setting up Clarkson, and then the perfect ball, and just a magnificent run from a star striker in Miovski. He understands how he can make it really difficult for centre backs, where he needs to be, how he creates the space, and when that pass comes in and he's latched onto it, then you could see that he had the confidence, the body language was there, that he was going to finish it. And I think Aberdeen have had a very, very good first 45 minutes. In fact, if you look at the passing sequences, all the quality passing sequences that came from Aberdeen, I mean, Celtic very rarely have put a number of passes together. They've been inaccurate with the passing. They haven't been able to control the ball at times. Two wing players, Kuhn and Yang, their touch has been awful. And even players like Hatate and Callum McGregor at times, not really being accurate with their passes, over-hitting it, making it too short or too far away when they're away from the player that they're trying to hit. I think it's been an awful. I don't want to go over the top, Packy, but I really do for Celtic. Brendan Rodgers must be in there thinking, what's going on? Because normally, their passing sequences are at a very high level, that they can find their player, the confidence is high, but it hasn't been there in the first 45 minutes.
I agree totally. I was shocked at actually some of the passing that was out there. You described it during the commentary, short, inaccurate, also tripping over the ball at times, and that's a combination probably of them not being up to the scratch in that part of the game, but also the Aberdeen closing them down with aggression and almost not allowing them to simply pass the ball. You've got to use your body and maybe keep people off and then get the ball away. I watch O'Reilly maybe falling over the ball, Yang falling over it, and all of that. And that's been a poor display I've got to see from Celtic.
None of Celtic's big game players are doing it at the moment.
No.
But I feel as if I've been in this movie before. Like last Saturday, for example, St Mirren really put it up to Celtic. It's kind of similar vibe at half-time. Yeah. St Mirren were excellent, probably the better team in the first half. Second half, Celtic came out and scored 3 goals.
And played well.
And played very well. Hatate got a grip of the game, and a lot of their big games, Ida comes on, makes a difference. So they have that weaponry to come on. It's only half-time, albeit Aberdeen are obviously in this game and are very clearly playing well.
The thing is, Willie, Packy used the word when it was 1-0 that Celtic looked rattled. And then from an Aberdeen perspective, and the pictures here cued to Peter Lever in the touchline, you hand Celtic an absolute gift. For those tuned in who hadn't seen any pictures, Willie, just describe what happened there and what on earth was going through Angus MacDonald's mind.
Well, I can't tell you what was going through his mind, but he just simply dwelled on the ball. He had possession of the ball. He kind of rolled his foot over the top of it. Kyogo came and put him under a little bit of pressure. And instead of just either playing it back to the goalkeeper, because it was on to play it, or play it wide to to Mikey Devlin, who was on, or just move the ball further forward, just play it
move
forward.
it into space.
He just dwell on it, and then Kyogo's kind of wrapped his leg round the centre back, round Angus MacDonald, and got a good touch on the ball. It's a good challenge from Kyogo. He's done exceptionally well, but at the same time, MacDonald shouldn't have found himself in that position. Willie, it's a howler from him.
Can I ask you a question, Willie?
Yeah.
Yourself and Alan McLeish and the great. Have you ever rolled your foot over the ball when you know that there's going to be pressure put on you? It's just incredible for me. You control the ball, set your foot, get it out, get it away. He rolled his foot over the ball when there's a player coming to close him down.
Will he roll his foot over a few legs?
Never.
That's what he did.
He's never rolled his foot over the ball in that
over a couple of limbs, probably.
Up against the top players. I can't believe he done that, honestly. You can get caught in the ball, you can make a mistake, but when you intentionally try to control the ball that way, knowing somebody's coming to close it in, especially Kyogo, who's quick and sharp, that he look back and say, what am I thinking? Is that a habit he has? Is that something that he does naturally?
What, Kyogo or MacDonald? MacDonald doesn't usually dwell on the ball like that. I mean, he is a calm, and he can be pretty cool on the ball, but normally he's in charge of the situation. He wasn't in charge of that situation. He had 2 or 3 options that he could have used, and he didn't use any. I don't know, it's just brain fog perhaps. It's come over, it can happen, but it's a huge error from him, and it gave Celtic that lifeline, because quite frankly they haven't created much at all, have they? Kyogo's tight shot that Roos saves, it's a tight angle shot down the right hand side where MacDonald switched off again, but other than that there hasn't been chances created, which you would expect from Celtic. You would expect Aberdeen maybe having to throw bodies in front of opportunities, but I just think it's been a really poor performance from. Now a lot of that goes down to the positive way that Aberdeen have went about their business this afternoon and closing Celtic down and not giving them too much time in the ball. But even when they've had time in the ball, Packy, they haven't been using it well. The passing hasn't been sharp, it hasn't been accurate.
No, it's a big surprise. It's a big surprise.
And the Celtic fans edgy there, guys.
Of course. They were edgy. After the first goal, and then when the game was going on 20 minutes into it, they were frustrated. There was a frustration. One time the Scales didn't pass the ball to Kyogo. You could hear it around us, and then he did pick out a great pass, and that's the pass you've got to play. You've got to do it early enough, not to have second chances. He was lucky to get a second chance, but I've got to go back to Aberdeen's goal. It was the perfect goal. When you look at it, the pass, and Jimmy McGrath coming in off the side, the fullback can't touch you then. You're in the face, play it into his feet, lay it off, and a lovely little penetrating pass for the run from. In training, that's exactly what you would want to do. In the game, if you pull it off, brilliant. And there was another chance right after it, and exactly the same type of movement from Majowski, and behind Joe Hart read it, and he came out. And that was brilliant from Aberdeen, I've got to say.
I think that's a frustrating thing, Kenny, from an Aberdeen point of view and an Aberdeen supporters point of view, is that, and I pointed it out before the game, is Aberdeen get a chance? Well, they've got a chance because they've got Clarkson, McGrath, and they've got Majowski, and these are 3 quality players, and when they link up like that, then you see the end product, but it just doesn't happen often enough. It's happened in the big game in the first half. It needs to happen more often from an Aberdeen point of view.
Tom, one big positive I would put forward here from an Aberdeen perspective is, and Willie spoke before the game, we've spoken about it all season actually, the lack of leadership, the lack of character in that Aberdeen side. They could have folded when they lost that absolute howler of an equaliser, but as the guys have been saying, Aberdeen are giving as good as they're getting. Since that equaliser went in 21 minutes, it's been tit for tat.
Absolutely. And like there was a tackle early on, and in itself it didn't amount to much. Gartenman really physical sliding tackle on Yang out this side of the pitch. To me, it kind of embodied Aberdeen's attitude, because it was aggressive, it was precise, and he kind of stood up and big and strong and looked at Yang, and as it was like, it was like, okay, we're not going to lie down today. You might be the better team, but we're here to play, and we're not going to beat ourselves. I just thought that in a little moment, these little cameos that you pick out, and you remember, if Aberdeen are to go on to win this game, I'll remember that, because it's a tiny incident in itself, but it just shows that Aberdeen, they're not afraid of Celtic. They respect Celtic for sure, And the results between these teams over the last couple of seasons would suggest that Aberdeen should be afraid of Celtic, but they're not. They're playing really, really well in this game.
Yeah, and the other thing is, Brendan said before the game, it's a critical stage of the season where he is a manager and the players come to their own. He will have to do it at half time here. Yep. He's got to change the attitude and probably maybe settle them down to a point. Maybe they looked edgy, maybe whatever, but he's got to come up with something at half time to affect this group of players, because they're not playing well at this moment. Now he's done it last week, as you mentioned, Tom.
Yeah, he's done it a lot.
And that's where he has to come now, because you only get one chance in the semi-final.
Pat, just one final thing. I can hear the players coming out there. What about Callum McGregor? Does he look 100%?
Not. I don't think he's 100%. Absolutely not. I think he's probably about 75 maybe. Getting caught a little bit on the ball at times again. I think the boy Clarkson's doing a good job on him, and he's playing on him but running off him also. He's getting himself into the box. But Callum, will he last the 90 minutes? Probably not. They haven't wanted to come on in that middle of the pitch. Celtic have got 3 or 4 key players to come on this that could affect this game also. Callum's doing okay, but he has a big role to play also as a captain of the team when a team's not playing well.
Well, the teams are back out, really looking forward to this second half. Aberdeen against Celtic for a place in the Scottish Cup final with Willie Miller, Pat Bonner and Alistair Lamont.
Thanks again, Kenny. Yeah, both teams back out. No changes to either line-up at this stage. But you can be pretty sure that Brendan Rodgers will have had a fairly stern word with his players in terms of trying to lift their performance. As far as Peter Leven's concerned, surely it would just be a case of more of the same. He'd be demanding. Both managers again taking their places just at the edges of their respective technical areas, as Aberdeen prepare to kick us off, going from right to left as we look at it from the back of the high up in the south stands here at the National Stadium. And we are back underway as Liam Scales wins the header as the ball's knocked forward. There's an early miscontrol there by O'Reilly, and Majowski plays it back to Clarkson out to the left hand side for McGrath. Goes down under the challenge of Johnston, who didn't seem to really do too much wrong. McGrath tried to knock it by him, and immediately went down as he felt a tiny bit of contact from Johnston, and Don Robertson decrees that to be a free kick in a pretty dangerous area.
Listen, he dived in. He shouldn't dive in. The ball's going away from goal. It's going down into almost towards the corner flag. He doesn't have to go and try and win the ball. It's an awful header from Hattati in the middle of the pitch initially to almost create this opportunity for Aberdeen to go and attack Celtic. But it is a good place right out over in this left hand side.
Yeah, just more or less at the angle of the box, a few yards to the left of that, as McKenzie and Clarkson stand over it. 2-man wall comprising Kuhn and McGregor, as Clarkson whips it in ahead initially of an Aberdeen player, then Scales, and it looked like a handball there from McGrath, who then volleys it towards goal and off target in any case. But an early opportunity there for Aberdeen, but they're not, again, despite their aerial superiority, you would have to say, against Celtic, they've not really made the most of these set pieces, Willie, albeit there's a delay in here, but it's checks quickly over, Willie.
No, they haven't, and you expect them to do that, but I don't really think the deliveries have been that good. You know, Clarkson's normally spot on with his deliveries, but I've been a little bit disappointed with how he's sent them into the box at times. I mean, they nearly got away with one that was an awful delivery when Gartman had the chance, but that kind of gives you an example of it not being as accurate as it normally is from the spot.
McGregor for Johnston, and out to the right hand side to the Celtic goal scorer Nicholas Kuhn, up against McKenzie. Will he go left, will he go right? He looks for Johnston on the overlap just inside the box. Back goes McGrath to concede the corner for Celtic. On this right hand side as they come forward, O'Reilly comes across to take it. Kuhn is there as the short option, as O'Reilly with the left foot prepares to take the corner right hand side, sends it into the 6-yard box. Scales is up there. Aberdeen managed to get it out to the right hand side of the box, then Majowski's back there to help clear their lines. McGregor will pick up and knock it back to Johnston on the halfway line. 2.5 minutes of the second period gone, still 1-1 it stands. McGregor into Hattati in the middle of the park. Polvara with him, just nudges it back to McGregor. To his left hand side is Taylor out to Yang up against Devlin, comes in on the right foot and sends it to the back post. A good ball, McGrath was in there, good defensive header with both Kyogo and Kuhn looking to try and get on the end of the cross. Johnston picks up for Celtic, now it's O'Reilly, right hand side. Johnston once more, gets a good challenge this time by Barron. Some good defending there by Aberdeen, initially by McGrath. We'll get Willie's thoughts on that in a moment, because Celtic have quickly taken the throw in. Now it's O'Reilly, right hand side, rolls it back to McGregor. Here's Kuhn stepping away from Majowski, trying to do the same from Mackenzie. Taylor now middle of the park, plays a short ball to Kuhn, still in the midway inside the Aberdeen half, out to the left hand side for Yang up against Devlin. A couple of step overs, right then left he goes. Yang into the gloves of Kelleros. Still 1-1, Willie, but just going back to the McGrath defensive header after a good cross from Yang. He had to make that, and he did.
Yeah, I think if I was out there, I'd have been giving him a pat in the head for doing what you expect a midfield player to do when you're struggling a little bit. It was a good cross towards the back post, and he had to be alert to the situation, and he was, James McGrath. So, you know, playing a big part in the goal and playing a big part in, you know, the early opportunities that Celtic are having.
Joe Hart's forced to scurry back across his goal mouth there. Liam Scales' pass back wasn't quite on point, but Hart dealt with it well. Big save just before half-time from Gartenman to keep his side level. As Johnston tries to make some headway down the right-hand side. Good challenge by Polvara, and Celtic will have the throw-in. Johnston trying to steal a few yards. He's allowed to do so by the referee. Gets it back from O'Reilly, and then O'Reilly plays it back just into his own half for Carter Vickers. Joe Hart well out of his goal, available to just make that extra man at the back if required, but Carter Vickers brings it out to the right to Johnston. Again, Hart offers himself, and this time he gets it just at the edge of the centre circle. Plays it then in the triangle to Scales, and Scales slides it forward. That's not a great ball, and Devlin tried to come forward. He was blocked off by Taylor. Don Robertson tells Nicky Devlin to get to his feet as Celtic come forward through Hattati, away from Barron. Here's Yang with the opportunity, cuts back, still the shooting chance. He's blocked, and Polvara clears only as far as Kuhn. Kuhn onto the left foot, tries to curl it to the back post. Down goes McDonald, but they're making a clearing header. Then Majowski down under the challenge of Carter Vickers. Again, didn't seem to be an awful lot in it, but Don Robertson has given that one as a free kick. Nicky Devlin still down on the far side as well, and could be a couple of Aberdeen players here requiring treatment, albeit Majowski didn't seem to take too much of a touch there from Carter Vickers, for which the free kick was ultimately given.
Yeah, I think Nicky Devlin was blocked off more than anything else. I didn't think it was.
Did you not?
I think it was a free kick. I don't think it was enough for him to keep him Polak's down, because what happened was when he was down, that's when Yang got in down that side past Duke, and you can see it here. He's almost stayed there, but Yang should have done better. I thought he was in, and he could have slid that ball across. He's checked back, and the opportunity was blocked.
Yeah, I mean, Devlin is getting some treatment here, so you've got to assume that he has been hurt in that collision, as Carter Vickers was the man eventually penalised for his challenge of Majowski, which seemed to be less in it than there was in the previous challenge between Taylor and Devlin. But
he has a thing on his head, hasn't he, Nicky Devlin? I don't know whether
he's got a face mask.
Face mask, or maybe that has probably exasperated the whole situation.
I think the referee got it wrong in both counts. I thought it was a free kick. I thought that Devlin was taken out of the game. It was blocked, and then I didn't see any contact at all.
I'll tell you what he's done. Sorry, I apologise now, and I will come back on the Willie. His knees bent when he's gone down.
Buckled under him, wasn't it?
Buckled under him. So I do apologise to Nicky Devlin. When you see it, you only can see it on the replay. You don't see it from where we're sitting way over there. So his knee did buckle under him.
Yeah, he's back up on his feet, but it looked like a sore one when we did see that in the monitor there. Patty, our better monitor shows that to us. Willie's second-class citizen one that he's sharing with Tom English is clearly not up to scratch, but Anyway, play has resumed. Devlin will hopefully, from an Aberdeen perspective, be able to rejoin the fray just in a minute, but it's Duke in possession, being closely watched there by Hatai Yang, it was, who just knocked it out of play, and Devlin is going to be able to resume, and he's going to take this throw-in right on the halfway line. He is wearing that protective facial mask, but it wasn't a facial injury that he incurred there. Throwing down the right, looking for Duke, who has been a threat as he flicks it on there for Majowski, but the offside flag is up against Majowski from the flick from Duke. But Duke has caused Greg Taylor a few problems this afternoon, Willie. We know he's definitely capable of that.
Yeah, I think he can cause more issues, you know, but he has. He's been a threat out there. He certainly kept Greg Taylor quite quiet as well. If you're looking at the defensive side, you know, when he's got it, he's a strong, powerful lad, and as you saw there, winning the little flick on in the air too. He's pretty good in the air as well.
Here's Johnston in an advanced position inside the penalty area, and it's into the side netting, but the offside flag is up against Johnston. Not a corner in the end, but a free kick to Aberdeen for the offside. We've played almost 9 minutes already this second half, and of course extra time and penalties are a possibility here this afternoon, should it end in a tie after 90 minutes, as it is after 54 minutes. Free kick to be taken by Keller-Rose. Aberdeen's last Scottish Cup win was back in February of 2014 against Celtic, I should say. That was 2-1 at Celtic Park. Since then they've lost the 2017 final. That was in pretty heartbreaking fashion, as Tom Rogic popped up in injury time to beat them. The first of Brendan Rodgers' Scottish Cup, as he's looking for his third Scottish Cup trophy this season. They've also lost the semi-finals in 2019 and 2020 to Celtic since then. Looking for a modicum of revenge this afternoon, and they're very much in this Scottish Cup semi-final, but I'm sure there's a lot of Aberdeen fans really watching on, thinking, you know, we're in this game, we're doing well, we're playing well, but fearing the worst as always, because Celtic always do seem to come up with the big moments.
Yeah, of course, that must be in the back of your mind. That must be in the back of the Aberdeen supporters' minds as well, you know, because they've done it so often, haven't they, with late goals to win important games. But you know, from an Aberdeen point of view, they're playing well, they're doing well, they're well organised, they're disciplined. When they get the ball, they're passing the ball well, and you know, they're showing quite a lot of confidence here in this semi-final.
Certainly are. They're on the defensive at the moment as McGregor feeds it to Johnston midway inside the Aberdeen half. Back with McGregor into the feet of Greg Taylor, who's in the central area, almost overruns that. Polvara makes the challenge. Play allowed to continue. Celtic still in possession. It's a ball there to be won. I think Taylor got there just ahead of Polvara, right enough. Celtic still have it. Scales just inside the Aberdeen half. Forward for Taylor. Back to Scales. 10 yards inside Aberdeen territory. Plays it short. Thought about playing it short to McGregor, then takes it on himself. Tries to clip it forward. Gartenman read it. Plays it up the field to Duke. Duke is caught in possession though by Taylor. Tackling back there on Hatate, but Celtic still have it, and McGregor finds Johnson at the edge of the centre circle, coming forward unchallenged. McGrath trying to close off the angle. It's forward to O'Reilly, edge of the box, out to Kuhn on the right hand side of the penalty area. Dinks it into the box, cleared away by Gartenman. McGregor collects, knocks it back to Carter Vickers. Aberdeen camped inside their own half just at the moment as Celtic look to try and exert their authority. 56 played, still 1-1 in the Scottish Cup semi-final. Liam Scales has it for Celtic. Duke eventually comes up and puts him under a bit of pressure. Pass goes to McGregor and then out to Johnston, and then on from him to Kuhn, right hand side up against McKenzie, coming towards the penalty area and into the penalty area. Knocks it back to Johnston just outside. Hatate's available right hand side of the box, trying to turn away from his marker, who's Polvara. Back to Taylor. Duke quickly out to close him down. Hatate takes over once more and feeds it to Johnston. Low ball into O'Reilly, doesn't quite come under his spell, and it breaks back to Keller-Rose in the Aberdeen goal. And as we pointed out in the first period, Keller-Rose, other than picking the ball out of the back of the net on that one occasion, he hasn't had to come up with any big moments, unlike Joe Hart did at the end of the first half.
No, Celtic, they've got loads of possession now at the start of the second half. It's almost the perfect goal again they're trying to score. You know, somewhere along the line when Kuhn gets the ball, or whoever on the left-hand side, put it into an area, get Kyogo across the front post.
Here's Johnson, edge of the box. Hatate feeding it in, looking for Kuhn. Kuhn can't quite keep that in play, I don't think, as eventually it's smothered by Ross in any case, but the assistant is signalling for a goal kick. As it's again Celtic tried a little intricate play, which they are capable of, and when it comes off it's brilliant, but it's just not quite happened for them so far this afternoon.
I think wingers, Willie, I don't know about you, but I think wingers got to mix up. You don't always have to go and beat the guy. No. Just take a half a yard and put that ball in quickly. You know, mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, but you know, the amount of times in this game as well on both sides, the Celtic wingers have been 1v1 against the fullbacks, and I think there's only once Kuhn early in the game took McKenzie on down the right hand side, but other than that they don't take them on, you know, and you're right, they can play it early as well, Pat. They've got a couple of opportunities, but I would like to see them taking them, actually trying to take the fullback on and getting them tested.
Just Polvara for Aberdeen as McGrath did some good backtracking to win it back. Clarkson, was he caught late there? Yes, he was, just inside his own half. The free kick goes Aberdeen's way. A little bit of respite for them because they have been on the back foot in the last few minutes in this second half, but it's still one each. You see James Forrest among the Celtic substitutes warming up, and I wonder if the man who Brendan Rodgers described as the best winger at the club will see a bit of action. He's a veteran of these type of games.
The best winger at the club, and he seldom plays.
Yeah, that's certainly true. Liam Scales knocks it back to Joe Hart. We've played 59 minutes here at Hampden. It's 1-1 between Aberdeen and Celtic in the Scottish Cup semi-final, the first of two over the weekend, with Rangers and Hearts here tomorrow afternoon. There'll be full live coverage of that on Sports Sound and highlights tomorrow night, and without doubt the best moments of this game will also be shown tomorrow night. This game's live with us on TV, should you care to tune into that as well. Here's Liam Scales, still one each, out to Yang, left hand side. Devlin's backpedaling as Yang makes his way into the penalty area, finds Kyogo, back to goal, trying to get turned, breaks back out to the left hand side. O'Reilly for Taylor into the feet there of Hatate, trying to get spun as well away from the Aberdeen markers. He's got it across goals, it's still in play. Play is allowed to continue, but Aberdeen managed to scramble and clear. Celtic just cranking up the pressure somewhat here. Taylor has it, edge of the box, into the box he comes, can't quite find room for a shot, can't find the pass either. Breaks back to Johnston. Majowski coming back to try and nick it off him, but it comes out to Kuhn, right hand side. Slips it for Johnston. Johnston across goal, cleared away from inside the 6 yard box and behind for a Celtic corner. The Celtic fans sense a goal is in the offing.
Well, they've turned up the heat a little bit on Aberdeen. I think they've dominated this second half so far. I think Brendan's done his work at half time. They're better, they're passing, they're more slick in their passing also.
Short corner taken, back to McGregor. McGregor in towards the back post as that floats behind, and I see James Forrest is about to enter the fade. Tyrone Smith can bring us news of the changes.
Yeah, it's looking like a double change for Celtic. James Forrest and Iwata both coming on. The players that are making way are well, I think Callum McGregor looks like his day is done, and it looks like Yang's coming off as well. So it's Brendan Rodgers is the first to blink with that double change.
It's a change you expected at some point, Packy, in terms of McGregor not quite being fully fit, but did you expect to see as early as the hour mark?
No, I actually thought he was coming into the game right now in the second half, but they obviously want to take it easy with him. They've got big games coming up, and he's a critical player for them. So Iwata will do his job in there, and he's done okay since coming in to replace McGregor.
Carter Vickers brings the ball under control with Leighton Clarkson hoping he would slip up there as he looked to get the ball in behind. Back with Hart out to the right hand side to Johnston, so it's Iwata and Forrest on with Yang and McGregor making way. Forrest has taken up a left wing berth initially, at least. 62 minutes on the clock, and here is Forrest getting his first taste of the action and immediately driving towards the edge of the penalty area. It's opening up for James Forrest. It's blocked in the end by Barrett. Barron inside the penalty area, but Aberdeen backed off there, and Forrest just unable to make the most of it as Carter Vickers gets to a forward ball ahead of Majowski. It's all Celtic at the moment. Aberdeen can't get a break as Iwata comes forward out to the left hand side for Hatate with Forrest in support just at the edge of the box. Again looks to find the shooting opportunity. It is Forrest, it's a goal, and it is James Forrest just on the park who finds the bottom corner from 25 yards. Well, he's a man for a big moment, James Forrest, and that is a big moment for Celtic as James Forrest puts them 2-1 up in the Scottish Cup semi-final. Aberdeen 1, Celtic 2.
Well, he's had 2 touches of the ball since he came on the pitch, and the intent was there, wasn't it? The first one he got, he drives forward and his shot was blocked. The second he gets, similar position, but a little bit closer on the edge of the box, cuts in on his right hand side and bends that ball round Kellaroos in the Aberdeen goal. Brilliant from James Forrest. What a substitution, you've got to say.
Oh, brilliant sub, isn't it? You know, and it puts him out on the left hand side as well, coming on to his right foot. And they did get the warning. Aberdeen got the warning, didn't they? They managed to block the first effort. The second was sublime. I mean, he stroked it into that far corner, isn't he? Kellaroos with no real chance to get to it. It's so precise. And you know, Aberdeen have been under the cosh. Celtic have dominated the second half, no doubt about that. Inspire's substitution has turned the game around.
There's going to be a book in there for Nicholas Kuhn for pulling back Jack McKenzie as Aberdeen tried to respond, and so the game has now turned on its head. Aberdeen with the early advantage through Bojan Majowski, but Kuhn and now James Forrest, who is looking to overtake Billy McNeil in the trophy stakes for Celtic this season. I think that's half a dozen goals he'd scored at Hampden before this afternoon in Celtic colours, and he has now popped up with a really crucial one as Clarkson sends in the free kick. Again, it's pretty comfortably defended, this time by Scales. Gartman keeping it alive on the right hand side for Barron. Barron says a good ball in. Majowski just couldn't quite take it first time. He has to try and bring it under control, and it's out to the right hand side of the box. Polvara with a poor attempted pass inside the box, and it's cleared, and Kyogo's just for a moment up against Devlin on a one-on-one. Aberdeen funneling bodies back. Polvara makes the challenge, but it's an illegal one, and it will be a free kick to Celtic about 35 yards from goal. But again, Aberdeen not making the most of the set pieces.
No, absolutely, and you know, Majowski got into a great position again. It looked as if he was offside. I couldn't believe nobody was picking him up inside the box, but he failed to maybe make something of it, and Celtic breaks out. Nobody's picking up Kyogo in that almost left-hand side, and they were struggling to get back, and Polvara then gives away. I'm just trying to see what was it a free kick or not. I thought he got enough of the ball.
Yeah, difficult to tell that one, but I think back to the chance with Majowski, it was a difficult one for him to control, wasn't it? Taki, you know, it was fired in there from Barron out in the right hand side. If he'd have controlled it, he'd have had an opportunity to strike it goal, but it was too heavy a touch.
O'Reilly then to take this free kick about 35-40 yards from goal, sends it into the area, but Gartman repels it with the head, and Duke almost getting the break of the ball there. Barron also into the challenge. Polvara just whacks it upfield rather aimlessly, but it is going to go all the way through to Joe Hart. Aberdeen need to be better in possession. They've really fallen away in the second half, Willie.
They have, you know, just a shadow of the team that they were in the first half. Very, very good performance from them, full of energy, closing Celtic down. They've lost all that, they've been pushed back. Celtic dominating the ball completely. Taylor was looking for Hatate there, but he slips, and McKenzie able to make the clearance. Duke just forces a pass back, and here come Aberdeen. It's McKenzie in an advanced area. Cross comes Carter Vickers now with the armband in McGregor's absence. Just steps in and steps across McKenzie and wins it back and finds Kuhn with the pass, and applause round the stadium from the Celtic fans for Cameron Carter Vickers, who just looks so
comfortable at this level, so assured, never looks remotely phased, and you just always back him to come out on top in these situations.
Yeah, but he read the situation well too. He seen where the danger, they were breaking on Celtic down this left-hand side, and he commits himself to come out and then use his body and strength to win the ball.
Here's Hatate able to make some good ground. Iwata at the edge of the box, out to the right-hand side now for Kuhn. Kuhn cuts it back, looking for Iwata. Wasn't a good ball as Clarkson steps in, and Majowski, well challenged by Carter Vickers, comes up to the edge of the box once more for Kuhn, looking to move onto his left foot. Can't get the pass in. Polvara with a headed clearance. Hatate trying to bring it under control. The stumbles, or he's fouled though by Gartman, and Celtic will have another free kick about 35 yards from goal. And news of another couple of changes. Tyrone Smith.
Yeah, Junior Hoylett, he's been waiting patiently to come on for the last few minutes for Aberdeen, but come on, he does. The man making way is Duke, who had such a strong first half, but been a bit ineffective in this second half. It looks like Celtic are going to make a change as well. Adam Ida, he's the man who's stripped and ready to come on for the hoops.
Thanks, Tyrone. Yeah, Adam Ida is indeed making his way out of the technical area. Don't think he'll come on in advance of this free kick. Really, Brendan Rodgers just biding his time and allowing Celtic to see this one out. And welcome to listeners who have been tuned into Off the Ball, who have joined us this afternoon for the Scottish Cup semi-final. Aberdeen 1, Celtic 2. Aberdeen led through Bojan Majowski, but Celtic pegged them back initially through Nicholas Kuhn, and in the second period James Forrest just on the park, a matter of moments before he slotted in the goal to put Celtic in front. And they're looking to go further in front, but Hatate has cleared the top of the bar by, I would say, a good 15 yards with a quite woeful free kick, as Celtic now will make that change, and it is a straight swap up front. Adam Ida for Kyogo. Adam Ida's made such a positive impact, you have to say, since joining Celtic in January on loan from Norwich. A little bit of an underwhelming signing perhaps on the face of it, but he's more than justified the decision to bring him to Celtic Park, Packy, with some big goals. Yeah,
big goals, good performances, I've got to say, not just the goals. Leads the line well, strong, and he'll run down the channel, and yeah, it's always a good substitution to make at this point in time. He's a different handful for the Aberdeen centre-backs.
It's going to be an Aberdeen goal kick. 70 minutes almost played now, and Celtic with the upper hand as things stand. 2-1 they lead thanks to that James Forrest goal, which has turned things around. He's won 6 Scottish Cups already, and that was his 106th Celtic goal in his 15th season at the club, the longest serving player at Celtic Park. And as I say, he can go ahead of Scott Brown, who he's equal with at the moment on 22 trophies. Billy McNeil is on 23, so if Celtic were to win the league and Scottish Cup, James Forrest would go to 24, and he would have just Bobby Lennox ahead of him on 25 at that point, which quite neatly sums up what a big player James Forrest has been for Celtic over the years. Hatate trying his luck, taking a couple of deflections on its way through. Last one was of a Celtic player. Aberdeen goal kick, 70 minutes played, Aberdeen 1, Celtic 2.
Yeah, Celtic dominating proceedings, yeah. And it's, you just wonder what Peter Leaven now is going to. I know he's made the substitution, maybe hasn't changed anything, just kept the same, almost one up top with the 3 supporting, but they've lost it a little bit in midfield.
I think they've lost it completely. You know, they look leggy, they look, their body language doesn't tell me that they're up for the second half. The energy isn't there, you know, the energy that they had in the first half, closing down Celtic, the fact that they were playing on the front foot whenever they did win possession. And I just think it's been too easy for Celtic. Have been better though, but Celtic have been much better in the second half, so you've got to give Celtic credit for lifting their game, but Aberdeen certainly have drifted out of it.
Yeah, it's been a bit of both, hasn't it? Aberdeen not at the same levels, Celtic upping their level certainly, and here they come once more as Kuhn manages to squeeze it through for O'Reilly, right hand side, early ball in, it's coming all the way through. James Forrest, he was just off balance, and Aberdeen got a couple of players back to make the challenge. Conor Barron in the end was there to help out, and Aberdeen smash it clear, but surviving just at the moment by the skin of their teeth, because surely a Celtic third goal would take this tie beyond Aberdeen.
Yeah, and it was a good block. I think with Mickey Devlin, there was sort of there was two of them actually closing him down, and he couldn't get it under control quick enough to get a shot away. But big chance again for Celtic.
Tati slides it forward. Ida at the edge of the box, holds it up, brings Johnston into play. Quick ball out to Kuhn, right hand side of the penalty area. Tries to play it in low, claims, I think, from behind the goal from the fans for a handball against McKenzie. I think it's just going to be a corner instead.
They're checking it, but I think that would be very unfair. You know, again, is that no? Carry on.
Yeah, it was quickly a quick check. And no handball as Celtic will take the corner kick. Then right hand side, O'Reilly with the left foot to take, to curl it into the penalty area. Carter Vickers got a glancing header, but a glancing header that took it well wide of target in the end. But he's not the tallest of defenders, Packy, but he wins his fair share of balls in either box.
Yeah, he's a big square body, hasn't he? And it's very hard to get close to him to almost put him off at times. And that, just lack a couple of inches. I think maybe that's why, probably down south, that in that position, maybe that he's not sort of been getting his game down there, and he had to come to Scotland, but he's shown that all the rest of it, and I think he's matured also as a defender.
Yeah, well, his father was a basketball player, wasn't he? So I wonder if he's been teaching him from a young age how to spring, because he's certainly got that good spring. Here comes Hatate inside the penalty area, well challenged in the end by Gartman, but perhaps Hatate could have got the shot off and not allowed Gartman to come across and make the challenge. It will be another Celtic corner, as they really are beginning to turn the screw here, and it's difficult to see how Aberdeen get a goal back to perhaps take this into extra time. Celtic corner again from the right hand side. O'Reilly waves Kuhn away and says it won't need the short option this time either, and it will be again a near post delivery. Carter Vickers looking to try and get on the end of that one as well, and it's cleared away in the end by McGrath, who was tracking him as an Aberdeen player down. It's Conor Barron, just took a knock in there, but he's limping to his feet, and it'll be a Celtic throw in near side, about 30 yards from the corner flag, right hand side, as they come forward, to be taken by Alistair Johnston. Whatever Brendan Rodgers has said at half-time, it's certainly worked as far as Celtic are concerned. It's been a much better performance, much more what you would expect from them, particularly on the stage like Hampden in a Scottish Cup semi-final. Here's Kuhn, 25 yards from goal, pokes it out to Ida, right hand side of the box, turns away from Hoylett. Hoylett then steps in to try and nick the ball that went back to Ida from Johnston, out for a Celtic throw-in. Is there anything that Peter Leven could change? You know, you made that like-for-like change. Willie, is there anything you could do to change the structure of Aberdeen at all that would somehow get them back into this as a contest?
I don't think the structure, I think maybe some more energy was required. Gillian Phillips is a big, tall, rangy midfielder. Favara has certainly fallen out. I think you would keep Barron on and just ask him to sit deep, but I think maybe Phillips coming on could help the midfield. I don't know if you're going to change, any of the back four at this stage. So I think that would be a kind of a energetic change, because he is a type of player that likes to run about and get close to the opposition, and I just think Aberdeen have lost all their energy in the second half.
Yeah, that's a good shout. Here's Taylor. Forward it goes to Forrest, the man whose goal at this stage separates the sides.
Yeah, in the first half, Aberdeen were getting close to Celtic. Celtic were struggling a little bit with their passing, much better, crisper with their passing, getting the ball away early, not allowing Aberdeen to get close to them. There's open up the spaces better, and that has suited them.
Here's Forrest playing a 1-2 on the edge of the box with Hatate, then finding Johnston. Johnston out to the right hand side to Kuhn up against McKenzie. McKenzie makes a good initial challenge. Johnston nicks in there and almost was caught there by McKenzie, but just pulled out at the last minute. Forrest back to Taylor and back the way again to Iwata, out to the right hand side for Johnston. Celtic looking for a third goal to kill this semi-final off. Johnston into the edge of the box, well challenged by Hoylett back there doing the defending. He hasn't had a chance to get involved in a positive sense so far. Here's Kuhn, And now Johnston into the feet of Hatate, back to goal, 25 yards out, just a little back heel for Johnston. Johnston finds Forrest, edge of the box, looking to take a shot on eventually, and it's down at the near post of Kelly Rose, who's able to get down and grab that one. Didn't have the purchase or the power from Forrest that time. Might well have been better taking it on the left foot earlier, but in the end it's a tame right foot shot, comfortably saved by Kelly Rose. It's Aberdeen 1, Celtic 2 with 77 minutes played here.
Yeah, one of the Aberdeen players, I think it's Nicky Devlin, is it? He's
it is, yeah.
Obviously from that injury earlier on, his knee is buckled under him, so he's struggling a little bit. But from Celtic's perspective there, I thought that Alistair Johnston had the chance to get a shot.
Left foot.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, you're talking about maybe Forrest not being prepared to take it on, but for me it was Alistair Johnston that should have taken on with his left foot. It was on for him to have a kind of a controlled swipe at it, even though he was maybe not feeling that confident. There was definitely a chance for him to pull the trigger, and he didn't. He just relinquished that responsibility. But Aberdeen struggling badly now. Looks as though Devlin's going to have to come off as well. He's walking towards the halfway line very, very sluggishly as well, isn't he? But the whole team has been sluggish in the second half. The energy's just gone from them. They haven't put Celtic under any pressure. They haven't put the ball under pressure at all the way they were doing in the first half. Maybe they just ran the race in that first half and couldn't keep the sun is out today. It is a bright day, but at the same time, I think they should be putting more energy into the second half. It looks like Jack Milne, it won't be Jack Milne that will come on just in that right back position for Nicky Devlin. Yeah,
it's a blow to lose Nicky Devlin, but he's really been hampered by that injury he suffered when his leg, as we say, buckled under him when he made a challenge earlier on. And it is Jack Milne coming on to replace him, and there's going to be another change made in the shape of Esther Sockler coming on for the closing 11 minutes and a bit, and off will come Dante Polvara. So Polvara has been sacrificed, Willie, but not for Killian Phillips as you suggested he might be. But Leighton Clarkson dropping back in beside Conor Barron, and Sockler going up to partner Bojan Majowski, which is certainly
it's positive. It's positive, it's very positive. Not too sure about that midfield now. I think it's going to be difficult for the two little midfield players in there, Clarkson and Barron, but at the same time, it gives Aberdeen options up top, and maybe the option just to throw it forward, that you've got two, you've got a pair that can work together to try and hold it up.
Yeah, Sockler and Majowski combining here as Sockler wins the flick on. Majowski has found Hoylett with the opportunity here, wide. Joe Hart again coming out to narrow the angle, and a massive opportunity for Aberdeen comes and goes as Sockler immediately having a big impact, finding Majowski, who in turn found Hoylett, but he was forced wide with a poor first touch and his left foot effort into the side netting, and it remains Aberdeen 1, Celtic 2.
No, the two centre halves of Celtic will getting into all sorts of problems.
Not for the first time.
Yeah, just a ball played down the middle, and they don't get the relationship right. Who goes for it, who doesn't go for it, and big chance for Aberdeen.
Yeah, one thing I'm not sure about is whether there might have been an offside in there earlier in the move as Sockler's header was glanced onto Majowski. I thought Majowski might have just been a fraction off, but
it doesn't take away from the poor defender.
The thing about the two central defenders, it's not the first time that they've done that this afternoon. This time it was Carter Vickers that shouldn't have went.
That's right.
The earlier one, it was Scales that shouldn't have went into the back of Carter Vickers. You can't have your two centre backs colliding in the halfway line, and they're very, very lucky. If it was onside, that didn't end up in the back of the net. Hoylett should have done much better.
Yeah, I don't think the flag went up retrospectively. I didn't notice it certainly. So it would have been interesting to see, had it ended up in the back of the net, whether it had been onside. But immediately Sockler and Majowski combining well as Carter Vickers has a bit of defending to do there. Heads it clear only as far as Barron, and McGrath trying to feed it forward. Who's that going to break to out on that right hand side? Well, Sockler's just going to take the corner, and at last the Aberdeen fans off to our left are something to cheer in this second half. They've been on the defensive almost throughout the second period, but with 81 on the clock here, the search for an equaliser to try and take it into extra time. They have a corner on the right hand side.
Yeah, and in my book, the lift has been given. Obviously, it's been a really good substitution from Peter Leven as well to get the two strikers up top, but it's how the Celtic two central defenders have handled the two strikers very, very poorly, and it's given Aberdeen the lift. It's given them something to hang on to.
Mackenzie is going to eventually take this one from the right hand side, left-footed. Hoylett looked like he was going to take it, but he's drifted away now, and Mackenzie's over to try and curl this one into the near post, and it's defended there by Ida, I think it was, who'd gone back to do the defending at the near post and head it behind for another Aberdeen corner as they look to level things up in the closing stages here at Hampden and give us an extra 30 minutes. Hoylett will take this one. It's again from the right hand side, but this one will be an outswinger with the right foot by the looks of it from Hoylett. And it comes flicked on at the near post, I think by a Celtic head. Hatate tried to help it on, didn't get much distance on it, but Johnston does, and it's well over the halfway line. And Kelleros says to Jack Milne, I'll take care of this one, and plays it out to the left for Barron. Barron now just inside his own half, feeds it forward, looking for the run here of Majowski, who opened the scoring so early on. Here he's up against Carter Vickers out on the left, plays it back the way to Clarkson, just a few yards in from the touchline, up against Johnston. Clarkson, can he find a room for a cross? He does do. Scales his first two, his header reaches Mackenzie on the left hand side. Johnston is the covering defender, plays it off him. Johnston trying to keep it in, but he hasn't managed to do so. It will be an Aberdeen corner kick this time from the left hand side, just beginning to ramp up a bit of their own pressure as Celtic just drop off slightly, and Aberdeen search for an equaliser in this semi-final. Hoylett to take once more, this time from the left hand side. It'll be an in-swinger with the right boot. Aberdeen with plenty bodies inside that penalty area as Hoylett swings it in near post, flicked on, came off a couple of bodies, some claims for a handball again in there, but nothing given as yet. But of course everything is checked by VAR inside the penalty area as Barron feeds it forward once more, flicked on by Gartman out to the right hand side. McGrath gets his head up, not a great cross, comes out only as far as Clarkson, he can't make anything of it. O'Reilly for Taylor manages to make the clearance, picked up by Milne. Encouraging stuff this for Aberdeen. Scales manages to make the clearance from the latest ball into the box though, and Aberdeen have nicked possession once more. Here's Hoylett up towards the edge of the penalty area, inside Iwata, goes for goal, blocked by Carter Vickers, out to Barron. Good spell this for Aberdeen, can they force an equaliser? It's Milne out to the right hand side for Clarkson. 20 yards from the goal line, sends it into the box, up goes Sockler, Hart's not got there. Hoylett, can he knock it into the net? Saved on the line by Carter Vickers and then by Joe Hart, and somehow it stays out of the Celtic net. Carter Vickers on the line, incredible stop, and he's going to go down now. He's been hurt in stopping that, but my goodness, Aberdeen so close to a leveller.
Yeah, absolutely, and Joe Hart under a lot of pressure there. He drops the ball, and it falls in. It is Carter Vickers, isn't it, back in the list? Two Celtic players back in the line that manages to get the block in. But for me, I think Joe Hart should be doing better. I think he's looking for the free kick. The free kick isn't given. It's a big opportunity for Aberdeen. The trigger is pulled, and there's Carter Vickers to block it. Unfortunately as well, it comes back towards the goal. Joe Hart has recovered to just pick it up before it goes over the line. So Aberdeen have found that energy. Incredible
end to this game, and Joe Hart, he normally punches them. I don't know if he's comfortable catching the ball. Maybe he doesn't get to the highest point always, but certainly he was stretching a little bit at the back post. You would expect him to take it cleanly. He got knocked, he didn't take it cleanly, and that created the opportunity for Aberdeen. But a great finish from Aberdeen, Wally. Great finish, and they've got energy, they've got something. The substitution has been very, very good. Phillips is coming on. I think also for Aberdeen, the Barron has gone off.
It's Leighton Clarkson has gone
off. And then Celtic make the substitution to Al.
Yeah, Luis Palma and Paulo Bernardo coming on for Nicholas Kuhn and Rio Hatate, and Leighton Clarkson replaced by Killian Phillips, as Paki says. So game's going to restart with a Celtic drop ball, but Joe Hart got awful one there, having made a huge save in the first half. He was bailed out there by Cameron Carter Vickers on the line, blocking the shot from Hoylett with his thigh, and Celtic survive, having dominated this second period, almost finding themselves back on level pegging. But here comes Celtic looking to finish the game off. Forrest has moved to the right hand side and he plays it infield to O'Reilly. Now it's out to the left for Taylor and Palmer, and it's going to be a Celtic corner now with what we got 3.5 minutes left of the 90 plus stoppage time. It's Aberdeen 1, Celtic 2.
Yeah, well, Aberdeen certainly finishing with a flurry and a good opportunity there to take it into the extra time. You know, I mean, it was desperate defending, wasn't it? A big error from Joe Hart, but Cameron Carter-Vickers just snuffing out the danger and, you know, being in the right place at the right time to thwart the Hoylett strike. But it's a good finish for Aberdeen. And
Palmer's near post corners cleared away only as far as O'Reilly, who just nudges it back to Johnston. Johnston out to the right hand side for Iwata. Iwata for Forrest. Back to Iwata at the angle of the box on the right hand side. Can he find the cross? He can, and scales over the top. He was just had to try and hold his jump almost. He was slightly behind him, and that meant he couldn't quite angle the header on target. It wasn't too far away, and that would have been that for Aberdeen had he found the back of the net. But as it was, Aberdeen survive. It remains 2-1. They're still in with a slim chance of being able to force extra time here.
Yeah, it was a good chance. It was just slightly behind him as he's gone in early, and that he's got up well, just couldn't direct it on target.
6 minutes are to be added on, we gather, albeit there's still a couple of minutes of normal time to play. So 8 all in left, if that remains the case, as Carter-Vickers plays it back to Joe Hart over the halfway line with his clearance, won by McDonald, who still be brewing that error in the first half that allowed Celtic to score the equaliser. That will haunt him, no doubt, for a while to come. Really undoing the good work that Aberdeen had done in the opening 20 minutes. But still an opportunity for Aberdeen to try and atone for that, as McDonald himself plays it forward down the left hand side. Johnston's header only as far as Mackenzie. Here's Hoylett, who was denied by that goal line clearance for Carter-Vickers. Now McGrath picks up 30 yards from goal, out to the right hand side to Milne. Milne up against Taylor, back it goes to McGrath, sends it, it's a good ball, and it's Johnston who gets his head to it and it takes it behind for another Aberdeen corner, and their fans are on their feet willing them to find this equaliser and take it into extra time.
Well, they certainly are. They're asking questions. They haven't done that in the second half, but certainly towards the end of this game, Aberdeen are throwing the gauntlet down to Celtic, and Celtic have to defend and defend desperately.
Hoylett then from the left hand side to take the corner. Aberdeen looking for a leveller. 2-1 they trail, and it comes to the 6 yard box. Good header away by Palmer, I think it was, doing the defending there. Barron plays it high in the air. McGrath trying to make something of it. Aberdeen just managing to keep possession, but it's a poor ball from Milne, and Celtic will look to try and counter, but they've given it away. And it's going to come back out to the left hand side to Hoylett, who's in acres of space. He'll attack the penalty area. Johnston trying to hold him up. Here's Hoylett into the box. It goes. It's a good ball. It's a goal! Aberdeen are level in the final minute of the 90. They have somehow found a leveller. Incredible scenes in the final moments of this cup tie. The semi-final looks destined to go to extra time. Aberdeen with some late pressure, and eventually, as told, Junior Hoylett with the ball to the back post, and it was nodded in beyond Joe Hart by Esther Sockler to make it Aberdeen 2, Celtic 2.
What a good goal, I've got to say. Hoylett picking the ball. He's acres of space out in this left-hand side, Willie, to put a brilliant ball into the back post. Go on, take it on.
No, it's fine. You seem to be enjoying it. I don't know why, but you do seem to be enjoying it.
No, it's just the goal itself was a great goal.
Listen, the change, isn't it? The two managers must take credit for both changes. Forrest scoring when he's just on the park, and then Sockler getting on the end of that one. But Hoylett too. It's a great little cross, really dangerous one towards the back post, and Sockler just drifting in at the back and meeting it to So's feet with a forehead and drilling it into the back of the net. It came from the substitutes. I don't think there's any doubt about that, because Aberdeen looked as though they were down and out, and they've somehow managed to turn this game around.
It's just a third goal in Aberdeen colours for Esther Sokler, but what a massive one that could prove to be. It's certainly given them a fighting chance going into these final minutes of added on time, of which there are 6, as Celtic look to try and go back in front here as Taylor comes down the left hand side, defended by Gartman and hoisted clear by Milne. And Aberdeen, having been out of the contest in the second half and barely competitive in it, somehow found the energy that Willie felt they were lacking throughout the second half to go at Celtic. They had one cleared off the line, but ultimately their pressure told as Sokler nodded in. But here they are defending once more. Palma stopped in his tracks by Milne, but Celtic will have the corner left hand side, looking for an injury time winner here.
Well, we talked about a semi-final, a good semi-final. It's an exciting one. It's all to play for at this stage. No way did I think Aberdeen was going to get into it in the second half, but substitutions have changed it.
Here's O'Reilly, left hand side, out swinger, glanced away by an Aberdeen head. Majowski manages to get it to Hoylett. Hoylett tries to bring it up the park, but he's lost it to Bernardo. Bernardo to Forrest, edge of the box. Can Celtic find a dramatic winner? It's Forrest with the outside of the boot into the gloves of Kelleros. You can see exactly what he was trying to do. We've seen him do it on more than one occasion. Shape the ball with the outside of the right into the far corner, but Kelleros read it all the way. It probably didn't have the precision required, and it remains Aberdeen 2, Celtic 2.
It had to be further away from Roos, didn't it? Roos could see it coming too, and he's just taken outside his foot, James Forrest, and trying to curl it towards the back post, and Roos seeing it all the way. It was an easy take at the end of the day, but what an exciting finish we've had to this game.
We certainly have. It's been a cracking semi-final altogether, as the referee stopped play, I think, for a head knock here in the middle of the park. It's Phillips who's down, of Aberdeen, holding the head, and not sure he's going to require treatment, but Don Robertson, as is the guidance, stopping the game with any hint of a facial or head knock. And we'll restart with a drop ball and a momentary pause and a momentary bit of calm in this final stage of the semi-final after a really hectic period, as Aberdeen have found a leveller. Again, having to do some defending, and Palma has earned his side a corner on the left hand side as Milne made the challenge. We've played almost 4 minutes of the 6 initially allocated. I think there's going to be another minute added on as a result of the goal that came again on the cusp of the 90-minute mark. In comes the in-swinger from the left hand side, but easily dealt with there by the Aberdeen defence. It's going to be picked up again though by Palma, left hand side, swirls it in. Gartman gets his head to the edge of the 6-yard box. Aberdeen look to just complete the clearance, which they do. Out of play for a Celtic throw-in, about 20 yards from the corner flag on the right hand side. Picked up by Taylor, who's in that right wing position after the set piece. Carter Vickers forward for O'Reilly, and now it's Johnston, edge of the box. It's a good ball, it's through the back post, and it just doesn't quite squeeze in. It's come all the way across goal. No Celtic players there to tap it in. Aberdeen just seeing it out for a goal kick, and almost another dramatic moment in injury time here, but it remains Aberdeen 2, Celtic 2.
Go on, Willie.
Well, it's a big chance again, isn't it? A good cross from the right hand side. I'm not too sure who got. Was it Ida that got his?
Palma got his head to the end. 2
of them at the back post, but they really needed one of them to be in the central area, because it was always going out for the goal kick when the header came right across the face of the goal. No hoop jersey there to simply tap it in, and Aberdeen survive.
Here's Aberdeen on the attack now as Majowski feeds it into Sokler. Hoylett with a chance, blocked. Still comes out to the left hand side to Majowski. Majowski turns it back the way now to Barron. Barron under real pressure from Bernardo, still manages to keep possession. Phillips out for McKenzie. McKenzie onto the right foot. Can he find a cross? Only onto the head of Carter Vickers, who gets it clear as far as Ida. Ida knocks it back to Bernardo, then Johnston just feeds it forward. Ida will go and challenge Gartman here, but Gartman gets to it first and nods it down here for Phillips, midway inside his own half. We are almost at the 6-minute point of injury time with a further minute to be played. Scales in the edge of his box, just manages to get that through to Taylor under real pressure, as it could be anyone's game at the end of this pulsating 90-plus minute match, and we could be set for half an hour more as Celtic though look to try and find a dramatic late winner. It's Iwata getting it back from Ida to win it. Oh, brilliant challenge. Somehow I think Jack McKenzie got across to block the shot from Ida as the goal was gaping, and Aberdeen somehow survive. It will be a Celtic corner, but it's Mackenzie who's lying prone on the deck at the edge of the 6-yard box, somehow keeping that out.
Oh my word, what a finish to the game. What a brilliant bit of play from Celtic, first and foremost. And then when the ball comes, his touch wasn't great. He had to slide after the ball, but what a block. He's taken it out, just got away from him slightly, but what a block from Mackenzie. Well, he ran on the 7 yards out, middle of the goal.
He just spotted the danger, isn't he, as he looked as though he was going to finish it.
In comes the corner from the left-hand side, ricocheting about, and where is that going to end? As an Aberdeen goal kick, I think, but I think that's probably just about it for the action in normal time. Celtic just asking a question there of Don Robertson. I'm not sure if they were questioning potential handball in there. There is a check ongoing. Well, this would be further drama, but it has been cleared, and Don Robertson, the referee, brings normal time to a close. Well, what a semi-final we have had, and there's more to come. Just pulsating throughout, and it's gone to and fro. Aberdeen ahead in 3 minutes through Majowski, pegged back through Nicholas Kuhn, and then into the second half, dominated by a much improved Celtic, and James Forrest off the bench to put Celtic 2-1 up, and seemingly cruising into the final gear as they controlled and dominated the second half. But then a couple of substitutions also made by Peter Leven, the Aberdeen interim manager. Junior Hoylett came on and had a big chance that went wide as Joe Hart narrowed the angle. Then he had a shot blocked by Cameron Carter-Vickers on the line, but crucially he sent in the cross for another substitute right on the 90-minute mark. Esther Sockler at the back post to nod beyond the Celtic keeper to level things up, and then just in the final seconds, Adam Ida with a glorious opportunity, but brilliant, desperate defending by Jack Mackenzie denied him, which means at the end of 90 minutes it's Aberdeen 2, Celtic 2.
The Scottish Cup.
This is the chance they've been waiting for. Cross goal comes, must be it.
Live on Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
Extra time to come on Sports, and when this one is eventually done and dusted, we'll cross to Tannadice. Live coverage there of Dundee United against Ayr United. Willie Miller, Pat Bonner alongside Al Lamont there at the National Stadium. Willie, I think Al used the perfect word there, pulsating. This has been a terrific advert for Scottish football.
Just give us more of it. If only, most of our games was like this. To be honest, Kenny, I couldn't see it coming from an Aberdeen point of view. I couldn't see it in the second half.
Yep.
They looked done, they looked down, they looked lacking of energy, lacking of inspiration, and then the changes were made. Obviously Hoylett coming on, doing really well, Duke coming off, and Hoylett, at the heart of everything, 2 opportunities before he put that cross in for Sockler, who was the other substitute that came on to level things. But with 5 minutes to go, I'm thinking, where are Aberdeen going to find the energy? Maybe 10 minutes to go, where are they going to find the energy? But then slowly they started to dominate. They went with the 2 up, they had the 2 wide, they left the 2 in midfield, the 2 small players in midfield, and then just played the game simple, went forward and allowed their wide men, particularly Hoylett, to cause Celtic problems. Then of course with Majowski getting a little bit of company up there and Sockler too, then you can use that tactic, you can go forward early. So I think both managers will be more than delighted with the substitutions that they made during the course of the game. But from Aberdeen point of view, they've dug that one out. I mean, they really have dug that one out of the back, because it looked as though Celtic were going to coast.
Yeah, the substitutions coming on changed the game for Aberdeen, but it was also defending of Celtic. Sockler, that moment, he's just on the pitch, and that moment that he flicked it on from Majowski, and that in itself then just changed, give Aberdeen confidence. They started creating chances, and Celtic just were under pressure from that moment on, and you could see the equaliser maybe coming. We didn't think that they could do it, but they've done it, and it's going to be an interesting extra period now.
It's going to be terrific. You just seen pictures of Kelladus pointing at the eyes, telling his teammates to focus. We are into extra time at the National Stadium. Penalties could well fall. Let's rejoin Willie, Pat and Alistair.
Thanks again, Kenny. Just about got my breath back after that end to the game. The two captains, or both standing captains actually now, Cameron Carter-Vickers of Celtic and Angus MacDonald of Aberdeen, going through another little coin toss with referee Don Robertson. As Celtic will get us back underway, Angus MacDonald will be as relieved as anyone when Esther Sokler nodded that one into the back of the net, no doubt, after his first half error allowed Celtic to equalise. So Celtic have us underway once more. Not sure our collective hearts can take another half an hour of the same drama, but let's give it a go. Palma from the left-hand side into Iwata, who has got the energy, the drive, the passion, the will to win this one. Sokler showing plenty of all of that there to win the ball back, but it's broken back to Carter-Vickers as Celtic go from right to left again, as they did in the first period of normal time. Carter-Vickers once more into O'Reilly. O'Reilly with a good bit of space, comes up towards the Aberdeen penalty area. Taylor now into Bernardo. Bernardo in a dangerous area, but he just can't quite get past Gartenman, who just shepherds the ball out of play. And although the Celtic fans round about us wanted a corner kick, Gartenman obviously knew it had come off Bernardo last and just saw it out of play, and the referee on hand to point for the goal kick. And we stand at Aberdeen 2, Celtic 2, with a minute of extra time gone.
Yeah, nothing happened in that minute, really. Yeah, quite surprising. No, it's been great. It's been great entertainment this afternoon. The fans have been treated to a game that's kind of swung back and forth, and Aberdeen's got to take a lot of credit out of the game for actually managing to stay in it towards the end of the game, because it looked as though they were down and out at one stage or for long periods in that second half. So they've turned it around. They've given us the benefit of another 30 minutes of entertainment.
Yeah, it's going to make me late for my day disco that I'm going to in Edinburgh, but I'm sure no one else is bothered. No. You boys fancy joining me for that one after this?
No, my disco days are over.
You still got the gear though.
Here's Liam Scales for Celtic. Forward they come, looking to try and edge back in front in this hugely entertaining Scottish Cup semi-final. We hope for more of the same tomorrow between Rangers and Hearts. Again, full coverage on Sportsound for you, as Majowski is penalised for a little nudge there on Scales. Just inside the Celtic half, free kick is given. Back to Carter-Vickers, the ball goes just inside his own half. Aberdeen still set up now in the 4-4-2 that they changed to when Sokler was introduced, and it definitely worked for them. And that combination of Sokler and Majowski certainly posing the Celtic defence problems, as Johnston tries to work it out to the right, but it's wayward for Forrest, and it's going to be an Aberdeen throw-in midway inside their own half, left-hand side.
Yeah, the two strikers, one will drop back in top of Iwata, and it'll be either or, depending where they are positioned on the pitch and how close they are to Iwata. And that has worked, and that can work if they do it properly.
I'm not sure, Willie. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Let's see this develop. It's McGrath looking to try and find a pass through the middle, and it's just wide. It was Sokler once again who got on the end of the McGrath pass, and there's another one in behind the Celtic defence, threaded through wonderfully by McGrath, and Sokler just sends it wide.
That's a big chance, isn't it? Sokler takes up a great position. It's in behind again. The amount of times that Celtic have been caught out in these situations, not knowing where the striker was, allowing the striker to drift off, and some excellent passes from McGrath in particular through Clarkson in the first half. But that was a big opportunity there for Sokler. He'll be disappointed didn't take it.
Well, I was just going to mention Esther Sokler, because for me he probably goes down as an Aberdeen signing who's not really set the heather on fire, hasn't probably really inspired or excited the fans all that much over the course of the season, Willie. But I mean, that goal is priceless almost, isn't it?
Oh, it is. He hasn't had too many opportunities, and it's normally been with the one up front as well. So,
but he looks.
He's not going to get ahead of Majowski. No. That's the
but
thing.
He looks at the same profile. Well, I was going to say similar type movement.
Exactly. Yeah. Difficult to tell them apart, to be perfectly honest.
It can be very similar in stature and movement. This is his 36th appearance of the season, but you're absolutely right, Willie, in the sense that most of them have come off the bench, often I guess in a team that's looking for a late goal. Here's Celtic looking for an extra time goal, but Forrest's pass wasn't good enough for Ida, and that allows Aberdeen to come forward now down the left hand side. And Mackenzie back to Hoylett, who was a Neil Warnock signing, and he certainly has had an impact having come off the bench this afternoon, denied by Carter Vickers on the line, but providing the cross for Sockler in the final minute of the 90th. McDonald takes a chance again at the back against Ida, gets away with that one and plays it back to Rose, so you'd have thought he'd learned his lesson. Garterman now out to Milne, right hand side, midway inside his own half, back to Garterman.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Conor Byrne also down in midfield there. He's obviously tightened up and he's stretching his hamstring, and he's put a hell of a shift in midfield.
On an absolutely massive surface, you'd have to say. But here's Phillips coming forward for Aberdeen. Poor pass looking for Hoylett, but Johnston was in the way. Hoylett trying to get back at him, and he's been penalised. I think the referee's actually saying it's not for a foul, it's for an offside that was flagged. Although, I mean, Hoylett never became active because the ball didn't get anywhere near him, so I don't understand that one. But anyway, it is a Celtic free kick, but I think Barron's definitely going to at least need treatment, but arguably need replaced here in extra time, because he's definitely feeling something in the back of his right leg, whether it's just cramp, Willie, which I guess you can play on with for a period maybe, but if it's anything more serious than that, like a hamstring pull, then he's probably going to have to come off. And Majowski's also down getting treatment, so two Aberdeen players being treated at the same time.
Yeah, it's not a good look, is it? I think the more concerning one would be Barron. He seemed to, hold his hamstring, which is always a very dangerous sign, isn't it? It's one that alerts you to the fact that if it is a little tear or a pull, then you're better not, taking any chances with it. It could just be cramp, as you said. It might just be a twinge, and he just needs a little bit of a rest. He'll be hoping that that's the case. Certainly Peter Leven will be hoping that's the case. As far as Majowski's concerned, not 100%, can't get a clear view at it. Looks as though he'll be okay, maybe just a little bit of cramp in his situation. So he's up, not moving particularly well right enough, and Barron's moving over to the touchline. So we'll just have to wait and see if Conor Barron has to come off or not.
Yeah, well, we've got who they got on the bench. You've got maybe Ryan Duncan, looks like the only one who could potentially slot in there. Or
what's the rule with the substitutions when you go into extra time?
Yeah, they get an extra one each. They are preparing
it's actually Majowski that's not looking particularly great. I think Barron is moving quite well. He's doing a little warm up down there.
Shane Morris looks like he's going to come on. Massive blow if Majowski's coming off. Here's Scales coming forward for Celtic. That should give Celtic a lift if nothing else. The sight of Bojan Majowski making way. Here comes Celtic down the right hand side. It's Forrest up against Mackenzie, angle of the box, plays it back to Iwata. Iwata waits for Johnston to join in. He leaves it to O'Reilly and back with Iwata, but 25 yards from goal, out to the right hand side. Aberdeen with everyone back inside the penalty area, down to 10 just at the moment, with Majowski already off and Morris waiting to come on. He's been a bit part mainly through injury himself, Shayden Morris, but he's going to come on and on the biggest stage as Johnston comes forward for Celtic. Now Forrest again on the angle of the box. Hoylett doing the defending, does get the cross in though. Milne gets it clear to the edge of the box. Celtic will pick up once more, back on the front foot. Forrest again picks up right hand side into O'Reilly. O'Reilly teases it into the 6-yard box, headed away there by Gartman, and it's going to come out for a Celtic corner left hand side. Palmer to take. Aberdeen will make the change before the corner kick can be taken though, as Morris comes on to replace Majowski. And well, I know you said that Conor Barron would probably be the bigger miss, but Majowski going off really is a hammer blow for the Dons. We'll get more into that after this corner kick from Celtic is taken left hand side. Palmer swings it into the edge of the 6-yard box, away by Milne, picked up though by Bernardo over on the right hand side up against Mackenzie. He plays it back to Iwata, still right hand side, infield for Johnston, and acres of space and loads of time. Plays it back out to Iwata, right hand side. Forrest in support, that's where the ball goes, about 20 yards from the goal line out on the right flank. Comes in field, James Forrest looking to play maybe a 1-2 with Bernardo. He's got on the end of it, but he can only get it into the arms of Keller Ross with a couple of Celtic players waiting. He just was on the slide and couldn't get the purchase on the ball in the end, and it's harmlessly in the end in the arms of Keller Ross. 10 minutes of extra time played. Still Aberdeen 2, Celtic 2.
I didn't think he had to go to ground there. You know, slide. I thought he was in. He just kept running and just almost either slotted, have a shot, or slided across. But he got on the ground and he then got a ball caught under his feet a little bit. James Forrest.
Willie, just to touch on the Miovski departure.
Yeah, you know, it was working really well, wasn't it, with the two of them up top as well. They've now had to go with just Sockler up top and McGrath coming in to support him and the two wider players. So
yeah, back to 4-2-3-1 that they started with, really, isn't it?
Yeah, just the same formation. So it's a huge blow because it was working extremely well and posing Celtic a lot of problems.
Yeah, Aberdeen fans are probably resigned to losing Bojan Miovski at the end of the season, but you would imagine for a big chunk of money, which his performances and goals have commanded. There's a ball into the Aberdeen penalty. It's a poor one though, and an easy take for Keller Ross. Is Bojan Miovski a player that you could potentially see at Celtic package, for instance? Is he the kind of player they could benefit from?
I've been impressed with him. I think he's a much improved player from when I seen him right at the start of his career with Aberdeen. I think he's just matured. I think he knows how to play the position, and I think he leads the line really. And he's got that turn of pace, which is really important. I think threatens defenders in behind them, and that's the and now he scores goals, and that's what you want.
Yeah, it's still only 24, so Aberdeen will certainly benefit one way or the other. Of course, they would love him to stay, but realistically, anyway, still a game on here as Celtic come forward down the right hand side, and their fans trying to lift them once more. Extra time has been understandably a little bit underwhelming given the 90 plus minutes we enjoyed. Both sides just sizing each other up as Iwata sends it into the penalty area. Good header away by Milne. Taylor out to the left hand side for Palma. Palma closely marshalled by Milne once more. Feeds it back to Taylor into Scales. Scales takes the touch. Sockler tries to close him down, but Scales steps away and finds Iwata midway inside the Aberdeen half. Back with Scales. Now Carter Vickers inside the centre circle. The furthest back Celtic outfield player. Everyone inside the Aberdeen half, barring Joe Hart, as Forrest picks up right hand side up against Hoylett, looking to take him on the outside. Gets the cross in, away by Gartman as far as Iwata, 20 yards from goal. Feeds it out to the left for Taylor. Back with Scales. Scales just plays it square for Carter Vickers. Carter Vickers takes it off the toes there of a teammate as Forrest then tries to thread it in, and an important interception there by Barron, who again is out on his feet sliding in to make the interception, but it's come at a cost again for Barron, who's feeling it, whatever the little injury he's picked up is, whether it's just cramp or otherwise, but he's got to pick himself up and defend here again as Celtic have taken the corner shot. Scales gets the header at the back post, but he's fouled his marker, and it's going to be a free kick to Aberdeen inside their own penalty area. 2 minutes added on at the end of the first half of extra time, and it's still Aberdeen 2, Celtic 2.
Would Aberdeen at this moment in time, Wooly, settle for penalties, considering that they've lost Miovski and that they look a little bit out on their feet?
Well, yeah, I think the fact that Miovski's off, it doesn't give them the same options going forward, but McGrath is within close contact with Sockler there. Yeah, McGrath has, and they've just got to try and find that energy again. They found it towards the end of normal time. They've got to try and find that again. I think the substitutes definitely helped that. There's no doubt about that in my mind as well. But at the same time, do you settle for penalties? I don't think you ever do. I think what you want to do is, if you get that opportunity, just you want one opportunity, one chance, and if you can take that chance, you're into the final.
Well, it's funny you mentioned penalties, because that was the last time Aberdeen won the cup was back in 1990.
Don't talk to me. Why do you bring these things?
It's relevant. It's relevant, Parky. I wouldn't just raise it for no reason, of course, to tease you or anything. Here's Scales for Celtic as they want to win it before it reaches penalties. It's Palma. Good ball for Taylor. Taylor into the 6-yard box, but Rose is there. Doesn't reach Ida, who was lurking inside the 6-yard box. And it remains with just seconds left of the first 15 plus the 2 to be added on. Aberdeen 2, Celtic 2. Willie, do you remember that 1990 game?
I was watching it, yeah. I was in the stand, unfortunately, and it get close to the goalkeepers actually taking penalties, didn't it?
Very, very close. I think we were next up. Absolutely. I went the wrong way for almost every penalty apart from one, Jim Betts.
That was the last time Aberdeen lifted the famous trophy, 7 times. Celtic's triumph against Inverness Cali Thistle last season made it 41, by far and away the most successful side in the competition's history, and looking to make it 42 this season as well. But Aberdeen have made life difficult for them here at Hampden this afternoon, no doubt about that. Ryan Duncan is still warming up. Thought he was going to come on and replace Barrett. Here's Johnston inside the penalty area for Celtic. Across goal, must be O'Reilly! Celtic back in front in first half stoppage time as Matt O'Reilly once again steps up to the plate for Celtic and puts them back ahead. A wonderful finish from 8 yards out, lifts it high into the net, and it's Aberdeen 2, Celtic 3.
Yeah, crisp passing this time from Carter Vickers out to the right hand side. I think it was forward who slipped Johnson in, and then the cut back, and O'Reilly one touch finish top corner. Really good finish, but it was good movement, good passing, exactly what you want. The cut back takes all the Aberdeen players almost out of it, and there was Matt O'Reilly coming in at a back post, and he just controlled it beautifully on the stride and slid it right into the top corner. Goalkeeper, no chance, Willie.
No chance. Great touch from O'Reilly though, wasn't it? It was a slick move down the right hand side, nice and crisp and sharp and good movement. And Aberdeen switching off a little bit to allow Johnson to get towards the byline. Once you hit the byline and cut it back, if he finds his man, invariably it's going to end up in the back of the net. And the form that O'Reilly's in, doesn't make any mistake with that one, does he?
No.
14 for the season for Matt O'Reilly's first in the Scottish Cup. He has been phenomenal for Celtic this season and has popped up with another massive goal, potentially a match winner, as Celtic come forward again deep into stoppage time. That's an end to the first half of extra time. Celtic getting themselves back in front, right on the cusp once again, just as Aberdeen drew themselves level at the end of the 90. Celtic have made it 3-2 with a Matt O'Reilly from an Alistair Johnston cutback and a fabulous finish from the Celtic midfielder. And so we will go into the final 15 minutes with the scoreline standing: Aberdeen 2, Celtic 3.
Yeah, could that be the goal that sends Celtic through to the Scottish Cup final at the end of May, the second semi-final? Full coverage tomorrow on Sports, and we are on air at 2 o'clock. Rangers against Hearts. Before that, off the ball at midday. Just a reminder, we will have commentary from Tannadice this afternoon. A big game there on the day that Dundee United could all but seal the championship title. They're at home to Ayr United. Full commentary to come. Also, we have reporters at Arbroath against Morton, Dunfermline, Queen's Park, Partick Thistle against Airdrie, and we'll also get news on the final day of the Highland League. Bucky Thistle in pole position, Keith with a very decent, Brecon with a very decent chance as well. Also Fraserburgh in the mix for that when the games are done and dusted. Today we will bring you reaction from around the grounds. We'll hear from fans, we'll hear from pundits, and we will hear from managers. From 6 o'clock, it's the Sports Sound Jukebox. Lots of great tunes, lots of great stories from all the various guests we've had on Sports Sound over the past year. Willie Miller, can you see a way back again for the Dons?
Well, I couldn't see a way back in normal time, and they managed to do it. So, the answer to that is yes, of course. Anything can happen, in the final 15 minutes. It's been exhilarating here. The atmosphere has been fantastic. The fare on the field has been wonderful. You know, we've had the 5 goals. You know, what's not to like, Kenny?
Yeah,
this is what you want. It's been a brilliant semi-final. Both sets of players, both teams take huge credit, irrespective of how this game finished.
Yeah, a really cool finish. Just seen replays again there, apart from Matt O'Reilly, just placed into the top corner. Keeper had no chance.
No, he gets himself into the box. He comes in late, you know, and that's exactly what you want. Your midfielders of the full back getting to the byline, cutting that back into his path, and no, he's not going to miss from there, and that's going to be tough for Aberdeen. Listen, Willie's right. They come back in the second half, but now this is going to be, they're tired. There's a lot of tired legs out there, so we'll see what happens. But it's Celtic our favourites now.
Right, let's go back to Willie, to Pat, and to Alaman.
Thanks again, Kenny. Back underway. Aberdeen going from right to left, and they've kicked us off with Ryan Duncan on for Conor Barron for this final 15 minutes of the game. Junior Hoylett going down the left-hand side, challenged by John Stinnon, out for a throw into Aberdeen down near the corner flag. Can they somehow drag themselves back off the canvas once again and potentially force penalties here at Hampden? Couldn't have asked for a better semi-final. It's been competitive throughout. Aberdeen really offering a challenge, a competitive challenge to Celtic. But as things stand, it will be 25 in a row without a victory over today's opposition. And Celtic, as they often do, just finding a way to get the job done. But that job is not done as yet. They will know that. They'll be taking nothing for granted, particularly the way that normal time ended, with Aberdeen finding the energy and the craft to get the equaliser. And here's the man who provided some of that, Junior Hoylett, in off the left-hand side, clips into Morris. Morris can't find a teammate though, and it's picked up by Iwata. Now Palma, left-hand side, closed down by Milne. Locks the first attempt at a ball down the left. Then Palma just knocks it up towards the halfway line. Gartman hasn't really dealt with that. He's given it straight to O'Reilly, and he thought he'd just out-muscled them, but
he's pulled him back.
Yeah, Don Robertson has deemed it to be pulling him back just inside the Celtic half, and it will be a Celtic free kick, which is quickly taken. And O'Reilly has it out to Forrest on the right-hand side, up towards the edge of the penalty area, looking to take on McKenzie. He'll be tiring, no doubt, and he's forced the corner. James Forrest off Jack McKenzie, and just have hurt himself in the process there. Forrest, he's just taken him a moment to himself before limping back on to play, and hopefully for his sake that's nothing that's going to impede him finishing the game. It will be a Celtic corner then, right hand side. The man whose goal is making a difference right now, Matt O'Reilly, to take from the right hand side, left footed, swings it into the 6-yard box, comes all the way to the back post to Ida. Ida has got Iwata in support, left hand side of the penalty area, plays a short back to Bernardo. Iwata once more on the left hand side, midway inside the Aberdeen half. Bernardo once more exchanging passes with Iwata, and now back with Carter Vickers. Celtic just have to manage the game for these final 12 minutes perhaps, as Taylor now comes down the left hand side at the goal line. Can he pick out a cross? Back went Morris to prevent the cross coming in at the expense of a corner. And on 108 minutes here at Hampden, it's Aberdeen 2, Celtic 3.
Yeah, I think managing is part of it, but you know, for me at 3-2, if you get the opportunity to go forward, you've still got to look for that fourth goal, haven't you? Yeah, you don't want to, you know, leave yourself exposed at the back. Absolutely not. You want to make sure that is nice and tidy, but you go for that fourth one.
Yeah, Aberdeen leaving a couple of players up at the corner there, which meant Celtic had to keep an extra man back. They've taken it, and it's Iwata in the middle of the park with possession. Palma wants it, Palma gets it, left-hand side of the box, dinks it in, but it's a poor cross, far too close to Kelleros, who grabs it and immediately fires it forward, but straight out of play on this left-hand side as Peter Leven demands his players get up the park and try and hem Celtic in as much as possible. As Johnston takes the throw in though quickly to Forrest, and it's a while before he's closed down. That's a wonderful ball in behind, and it's Ida maybe to finish it. Challenge from Angus McDonald comes in, and out for a corner kick is signalled by the referee. Had to get that absolutely spot on, and in the referee's view, and certainly by the sound of Willie Miller's take on it. He got it right. Seemed to me as well, but of course VAR will have a look.
Yeah, I think it was a great tackle. I think he's went to strike. It's a great tackle.
In from the
and
side.
He's caught him with his trailing leg, but that you have to go to ground. Brilliant tackle.
Yeah, it will be
Thank you.
A corner kick. Well called, Willie. First time. As Celtic take the corner short, Forrest and O'Reilly play it between them. And now it's back with Bernardo, right hand side. Johnston then back to the halfway line for Carter Vickers. That was a momentary chance there for Celtic to put this game beyond Aberdeen, but Ida denied by the great recovery challenge by McDonald. As Celtic still have it, left hand side. Palmer trying to get away there from Milnes, managed to get it through to Taylor. Taylor with a ball in. Ida with a header!
Offside.
It's offside! Ida thought he'd finished it, but the flag is up. Whether it's against Taylor initially or whether it's against Ida, Ida looked to be pretty much in line with Taylor as the ball came in, so perhaps it's the earlier ball through to Taylor. We'll get a look at that in a minute, but Ida finished it with aplomb. Here we go.
No, Taylor's not offside.
He's off. Ida is,
Ida's
off.
Just off.
Yeah, Ida's a yard or two ahead of Taylor when we see the replay here. And that check is quickly over as well. But Ida, good finish with the header. Thought he made it 4-2, but rightly chopped off in the end. So Aberdeen live to fight another 10 minutes. This is what they have at the end of this game as McDonald gets through a challenge there from Forrest and forces the ball out to the left-hand side to Hoylett. Checks back on the right foot and clips it in towards the back post for Morris. Morris, can he keep this one in play? Yes. Taylor's clearing for, I think, probably offside, but that's not given as Milne picks up on the right. Plays it back the way to Garton, midway inside the Celtic half. It's Morris on the right, looking to take on Taylor. He's got to the byline, stands it up. It's a good ball. Comes to the back post from McKenzie. Takes a touch on the right foot, takes a shot, and it just won't fall for an Aberdeen jersey. Then Carter Vickers. Oh, it's a penalty! Oh no, is it? No, he's given a free kick, an earlier free kick for a challenge of a Celtic player. It looked like he was pointing to the spot there, Don Robertson, but he's actually pointing to the edge of the 6-yard box for an earlier infringement. Aberdeen thought they had a spot kick, but as it turns out, it's a free kick to Celtic, and it will remain Aberdeen 2, Celtic 3.
Yeah, I'd like to look at that again, because obviously the whistle went after the tackle from Carter Vickers, and that he's obviously got in front of Carter Vickers as he went to strike the ball, but it's a free kick before that.
Yeah. I don't know where the free kick has come into. We haven't seen that yet. Carter Vickers goes into the back of Hoylett, isn't it? As Hoylett tries to protect the ball, but we're waiting to see where the free kick actually occurred that the referee's given.
Yeah, it's an odd. We're not seeing that on the replay. Certainly,
they're not showing it.
If that is if you interpret that challenge by Carter Vickers on Hoylett, if you look back at the Old Firm game where the decision was given against Dessers, was it? When he fouled Lagerbielke.
Lagerbielke, yeah.
That is a similar one in the sense that Hoylett's just got his foot in. Well, the check's over.
Yeah, and the other issue, I watched a Newcastle game.
Well, the decision is it's a foul by the attacking team, which is what Don Robertson has given in the first place. We've just not seen a replay of that incident as yet, but that's what he pointed for, and that's what he gave, and so the on-field decision stands. We just haven't quite seen back that initial challenge. I think it was on Alistair Johnston by the looks of it.
Yeah, I watched, just on a reference there, I watched the Newcastle game down in England, and there was 2 penalties given for exactly the same thing, but that decision went obviously against the defending team, but that's consistently probably, as you rightly say, Al, to that Rangers game. If that's what the foul was, but it's the one before that, there was nothing in that.
Well, that's what I mean. That must be what's been given, isn't it?
Yeah, it must be.
So there's a challenge there. I'd like to see that again. There's a challenge on Alistair Johnston just at the edge of the 6-yard box, which has basically been deemed to be a foul for Celtic, and that occurred before Carter Vickers made the challenge on Hoylett, and that is why Celtic were awarded the free kick and the penalty was not given. So further drama though, just more talking points as Aberdeen still look for a leveller to take it into penalties, that they trail by 3-2 as Jamie McGrath then prepares to take a free kick awarded to Aberdeen just inside the Celtic half. into the edge of the box it goes, headed in. There's a chance here for Sockler, just wide. Another big chance. The offside flag is up again, I think. But Sockler didn't know that as he stretched to try and guide it past Joe Hart, but he guided it past the post. And it remains Aberdeen 2, Celtic 3.
They've come again. We wonder could he come back, but they are coming, Aberdeen. But it's a free kicks, it's a set pieces. Celtic can't deal with it.
I think it's Sockler. It just went too early. There couldn't have been much in it. Okay, he's put it by the post anyway, but a big chance.
Yeah, so the chances are coming for Aberdeen in these last few minutes here, but they haven't been able to find another equaliser. There's Morris. He's lost out though to Bernardo. Bernardo doing really well, but he's finally fouled. I don't think it was for the challenge again on Gartman. It's a previous drag back there that has been penalised by Don Robertson, and the free kick is going to go Celtic's way. Eventually the free kick tried to be taken quickly. That's going to be pulled back. But what we got left now, 4 and a bit minutes plus added on time, as Celtic fans begin to believe that they will be back here on May the 25th for a meeting with either Rangers or Hearts, and potentially looking to seal a double by that stage. They've got a free kick just inside their own half, which is taken by Liam Scales. Down the left it goes. Milne gets his head to it. Morris is giving it straight to Luis Palma at the edge of the box. Don't want to be doing that. Palma still has it. 25 yards from goal. Threads it through. O'Reilly, square for Ida, and he couldn't finish it. Just behind him, and he couldn't get the shot on target. Made a bit of a mess of it in the end, although it wasn't an ideal ball from O'Reilly. And
yeah, he's just got to move his feet better, isn't it? You know, he's in there.
Here's Forresto inside the penalty area, cuts it back. O'Reilly, he's blocked this time by Gartman. Aberdeen just about clinging on at the moment. Still 3-2 Celtic lead as Scales knocks the ball down the left. Palma with a little touch beyond Milne. He comes back and picks up possession and finds Taylor. Good play from Celtic, and Palma in particular. Here he is once more, the Honduran. Left-hand side, offside flag up against Taylor. Aberdeen free kick, 3.5 to play. Aberdeen 2, Celtic 3.
Yeah, just going back to that chance for Alameda. He was in a perfect position, as you talked about before, right in the middle of the goal. Just gone behind him slightly, but I think he could have maybe changed his feet a little bit better, got his balance right, and it was a simple tap-in.
He just couldn't adjust himself, could he, really? It was a little bit behind him, but you'd expect him maybe to try to take the touch first, and then the goal was gaping for him.
Here comes Celtic again, looking to finish this game off once and for all. It's Ida at the edge of the box up against Gartman, who gets the challenge in, knocks the ball behind. Celtic corner, 3 to play with 3 minutes to be added on at the end, apparently. So still 6 to play in total. Not sure whether they found the additional 3 minutes in the second half of extra
VAR,
time.
was it?
Oh yeah, there was the VAR delay, I suppose, for that incident. It was over the potential penalty. Celtic going to make another change here, and it's Mike Nawrocki who's going to come on for the closing stages, as Celtic have taken the corner though over on the far side, and they're trying to keep it down at the corner flag, but they've lost possession, and it's Duncan who's coming forward, just lashes it upfield. Scales is there though, brings it under control and then just knocks it out of play. Will there be another chance in the game for Aberdeen to somehow try and drag themselves level again? James Forrest is going to be replaced here by Mike Nawrocki. I'm not sure if that's because of the knock he took a few moments ago, or just purely tactically because Brendan Rodgers feels he's the best man to take off and add that bit more defensive solidity for the final few minutes to make sure he sees this out.
No, I just think he's taking that knock, isn't he? You know, earlier on there when he went by, maybe, but he doesn't look too bad, does he? Walking off.
Aberdeen with a throw in then. 90 seconds of extra time remaining, plus 3 minutes to be added on. McGrath has to go back the way to his goalkeeper. He's closed down by the ever-willing O'Reilly, whose goal might yet be the winning one for Celtic this afternoon. Aberdeen have it in the middle of the park, and it's McKenzie. The fans urging them forward. Peter Leven likewise at the edge of his technical area. Here's Hoylett on the left-hand side. It's a good ball in at the back post. Another chance! Oh, it's in again! Would you believe it? Somehow Aberdeen have dragged themselves off the canvas again, and it's that man Angus MacDonald whose mistake allowed Celtic first half, who's up from the back to head past Joe Hart. It's an absolute replica of Esther Sockler's goal at the end of 90 minutes. And Aberdeen have somehow surely now forced penalties. It's Aberdeen 3, Celtic 3. What a game!
That's incredible, isn't it? You know, for Aberdeen to come back yet again. What spirit, what determination, what quality. Hoyle again. I mean, the quality of that little dink cross to the back post, and the inability of Celtic to actually pick up players running in at the back post as well. Replica, you know, for the second goal. And what a turnaround yet again for Aberdeen. They've put so much into it. We have been absolutely entertained this afternoon. There's no doubt about that. And, you know, for Angus MacDonald to blow a kiss to whoever he's blowing a kiss to up there, he's a relieved man after giving away that initial goal.
Yeah, I'm just looking at this as a great cross. First and foremost, letting him on the inside is similar to the last time. Push him down the line, push him somewhere. Don't allow the cross to come in first and foremost. Secondly, then I think a Scales at the back post gets done because he isn't picking the player up. And I'm looking and wondering if Joe Hart could come and deal with that cross and take the pressure off his defence. But taking nothing away from Aberdeen. Incredible turnaround.
Well, what a way to atone for a glaring error to, in the final minute of the 120, to pop up with the equaliser. With the captain's armband on this afternoon, Angus MacDonald has pulled it out the bag for Aberdeen with just his second goal of the season. An absolute carbon copy of Esther Sockler's earlier equaliser. And we look very much destined for penalties now, unless there is one final moment of drama in the game before extra time comes to a conclusion. Aberdeen have won themselves a free kick about 15 yards inside the Celtic half. It just took me a second or two to realise it actually gone in the back of the net, because Angus MacDonald's own reaction was somewhat delayed and it just sneaked in the inside of the post, Joe Hart's back post, rather than into the side netting as I thought perhaps it had done. But Angus MacDonald then realised himself, and the Aberdeen celebrations.
Not over yet.
Certainly it's not, no. We've got 2 minutes of the 4 added on now as Jamie McGrath into the penalty area, scales away as far as Morris. Referee Don Robertson has spotted an infringement there, and it will be a Celtic free kick inside their own penalty area. 2 minutes to play. A yellow card there, I think, for Shaden Morris for kicking the ball away. And it's just been quite incredible here at Hampden. 3-3, and you just haven't had a moment to really catch your breath. And at one stage you think you know what's going to happen, as Aramida perhaps has an opportunity here to try and carve something out. He did have the ball in the back of the net for a fourth Celtic goal, but it was chopped off correctly for offside, and his cross on that occasion is wayward and behind for a goal kick.
Adam Aid is limping also. He looks as if he's been limping for the last 5 minutes. I don't know what he's done, but he would be one that you would be putting down as a penalty taker.
Yeah, certainly. Although he did miss one relatively recently, scored a couple against was it Hibs and Motherwell off the top of my head. So you would imagine he'll step up. Assuming we're going to go to penalties, we are now in the final minute of added on time at the end of extra time. Aberdeen 3, Celtic 3. It's been some time since I've seen a game quite like this one, as there's a poor challenge in the middle of the park there by McGrath, who's out on his feet against Iwata, and he's going to go into the book for that. Jamie McGrath, who's had a fine game for Aberdeen. It's been brilliant, hasn't it?
It's been fantastic, isn't it? Just
for the neutral, it's been fantastic.
I don't care. Just for anybody that loves football, Packy. Come on.
No, I agree.
I think it's been great for Celtic supporters. It's been brilliant for Aberdeen supporters, no doubt about that. It's been a top quality performance from them.
Sockler working back there on Iwata. We're done. It's penalties to decide this one. Celtic twice in front in the latter stages, and twice paid back after they'd themselves turned it round following Bojan Majowski's early opener, but Aberdeen have shown great fortitude, you'd have to say, great spirit to not only in normal time but both in extra time as well, to claw themselves back into the game, to find levellers. And that is why, with the scoreline at 3-3 at the end of extra time, we are heading for penalties, and the drama is far from over here at Hampden.
Yeah, I don't know how much more we can take. One of the most incredible games I have ever seen. Just when you think, on two occasions when Celtic have got the job done, back came Aberdeen. Terrific from Peter Leven's side. Tom English is alongside the guys there at the National Stadium. Tom, this has been, as I said at the end of normal time, a terrific advert for Scottish football.
Like it's kind of otherworldly. We're kind of looking at each other every time the twists and turns. We're looking at each other going, I can't believe that just happened.
Yeah.
Fair play to Aberdeen. They get punched in the face, they get knocked down, they get back up again. Punched in the face again, knocked down, they get back up again. Incredible guts and self-belief. Celtic would have felt that they've won this game a couple of times. It's just one of the best. I'm struggling to think of a better cup tie I've ever seen.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same, Tom. It's been absolutely remarkable, and all credit to these Aberdeen players, and also to Peter Leven. He has done a fantastic job there.
Amazing. I mean, I read out the stats beforehand about Celtic's dominance over, I think it's 24 games. Aberdeen haven't beaten Celtic. And some heavy defeats there. 1-0, 2-0, 3-1, 4-0, 5-0, 6-0. That's all in the last two seasons, by the way.
Yeah.
Celtic v Aberdeen. And look at this. So whatever Peter Leven has done, the players clearly love him. The players are playing for him. This is incredible guts and spirit and skill that they're showing against the best team in the country. And Celtic are probably going, what on earth do we have to do to put these guys out of their misery?
Yeah, there's been great character, and it's been questioned many times this season from Aberdeen.
Yeah.
Just briefly, pardon yourself, the goalkeepers will have a list, I presume, of where the penalty takers are likely to go.
Yes, you probably focus on the 11, the stars, but when the subs don't come on, you're kind of not, they should have all their analysis done now, but does that really matter? Does it matter? It's about nerve, it's about getting up there, making sure that you hit the ball with a little bit of pace into the right corner. If the goalkeeper goes the right way, he's always got a chance of saving it, and from that perspective, but it's an incredible finish. Yeah. I'm in shock here alongside Wooly. Wooly, with the hair he's got grayer and grayer.
It's ecstasy.
It's just fantastic to be part of, Willie, isn't it?
Well, it is. It's been, Kenny, it's been a tough season for Aberdeen supporters and the players and the club in general. But to watch this kind of performance, it gives you hope. It gives all the Aberdeen fans, I'm sure, who are loving it down there in the corner to the left-hand side. They're loving the performance, and that's all you can ask for from your team. That kind of performance that you've seen today, where it's a never-say-die attitude that they've got. They keep bouncing back. They keep taking what looks like the knockout blow. They keep getting back up, and they keep coming back and taking Celtic on, and making it really difficult for Celtic as we go into these penalty kicks.
Yeah, over to you, Al.
Yeah, the penalties are going to be taken across to our left, with the Aberdeen fans and Celtic fans are both gathered. That was on a coin toss, so was who was going to take them first, and it's going to be Celtic to go first. Correct me if I'm wrong, this is at the same end as 1990, chaps?
It is.
Yes, I thought so. So if anyone believes in omens, then there's potentially one for you, but surely all that just goes out the window. It's all down to the players here on view, and Adam Ida is the man who will step up first for Celtic against Kelleros. As we said, he did miss one most recently, but he has got a good record from the spot. He starts his run up straight, skips to the left, up he steps, Adam Ida scores! Roast dive to his left, Ida went the other way. A low penalty from Adam Ida, and Celtic take the advantage. First blood in the penalty shootout.
Yeah, two young Irishmen stepping up to take the first penalties. Adam Ida and Jimmy McGrath coming up now for Aberdeen.
Yeah, it will be McGrath then up against Joe Hart, who just gets a bit of instruction there from Don Robertson, and McGrath places the ball on the penalty spot. How's his nerve? Right-footed Jamie McGrath will step up. 2 or 3 yard run up. Here he comes, and he slots it more or less the same area as Aramida, and again Joe Hart dive to his left, almost a carbon copy of Aramida's penalty, and it's 1-1.
Listen, it's a good penalty because it goes into the back of the net, but I'll tell you what, if Hart goes the other way, he's saving that. You know, both penalties that's been taken so far, they haven't been in the corner, they've just been a little bit to the left actually, and the goalkeepers went the wrong way.
Luis Palma stepping up, missed a couple of penalties against Ross County and has been off penalties since then, understandably. He is the man though who has put his hand up to take the second one for Celtic. 1-1 it stands. Kellerose waving his arms about on his line, dancing a little bit, trying to put the Honduran off. Up he steps, Luis Palma, right-footed, scores away to the goalkeeper's left, and celebrates with the Celtic fans as Celtic go 2-1 up in the shootout.
Took that well, didn't he?
He did.
A little kind of a step up, slowed his run down, and then slotted it home with good pace.
Yeah, Kellerose tried everything to try and put him off there, as goalkeepers do. As psychology, it's trying to influence before he comes up to kick the ball. But yeah, it was a good penalty.
Angus MacDonald next for Aberdeen, scores just under the body of Joe Hart, who guessed right away to his right. Again, it wasn't a brilliant penalty, although you have to say any penalty that ends up in the back of the net is a good one, and the Aberdeen skipper, who forced the penalty shootout with his late equaliser, scores to level it up at 2-2, and it's O'Reilly next.
I'll tell you what, he went the right way that time, gone under him, went under Joe Hart, but it was pace on the strike. But I thought Joe, if he goes the right way, had a chance of saving that one.
O'Reilly then, who thought perhaps he'd won it for Aberdeen in extra time, steps up here left-footed to make it 3-2, sends the keeper the wrong way. It wasn't quite the Panenka from Ibrox, but it was still as cool as you like to make it Celtic 3, Aberdeen 2 in the shootout.
How is the pressure going, Willie?
It's fine, I'm okay, but that was a good penalty, wasn't it, Matt O'Reilly there? Very few steps before he rifles that one into the back of the net.
What was it, 9-8 in 1990? So
yes,
there's a way to go to emulate that. It's going to be Esther Sockler now to try and level things up once more. Sockler scores as well, straight down the middle as Joe Hart dives to his right, and maybe, just maybe, we are heading to some sort of repeats of 1990 and the drama that unfolded that day. Esther Sockler, it's a 100% penalty kick so far, 3-3 it stands. As Paulo Bernardo steps up.
If in doubt, just put it down the middle. That's right down the middle of the goal.
It is.
There is it for goalkeepers.
If they stand, we've seen it at Man City versus Real Madrid, but what didn't happen. I don't think anybody will have the nerve to do that today.
Here is Bernardo then up against Kellerose, the Portuguese. Right-footed will step up here. Quick run up from Bernardo. Ross got a glove to it, but it's in. As close as he's come to saving someone, and he's hurt himself in the process, Kellerose. What happens here? Kellerose has gone down injured, having just failed to keep that one out.
Cramp, he's got cramp. I think he'll be all right. But he got a hand to that, Willie.
It's just went under. He's not got enough of a strong hand back here. I don't think it's.
He's struggling. He's struggling.
He's going to need treatment. I've never seen a keeper getting treatment midway through a penalty shootout before.
Adds to the drama. He's got cramp. I've got to say he's got cramp. Yeah.
Well, this is incredible. I mean, quite apart from anything else, how does a goalkeeper get cramp?
Absolutely, but it delays the penalty shootout. What about the guy that's trying to step up to hit the next penalty, and so on? It just no, I've never seen that. I've never seen that before in my life.
I'm pretty sure you can't replace a keeper in a penalty shootout, so he's going to have to soldier on somehow. Ryan Duncan, meanwhile, I mean, for that young man who's next up for Aberdeen to try and make it 4 each, and Angus MacDonald's going to just speak to Duncan at the moment in the middle of the park and presumably just offer him some calming words of advice, but Kellerose eventually back on his feet.
Wow.
And now Joe Hart, a bit of mind games here as Ryan Duncan comes up to the penalty spot. Joe Hart out for a few words with him, using all of his experience here. The 37-year-old looking to try and help Celtic to yet another Scottish Cup triumph. Eventually then Duncan will get to take the 4th Aberdeen penalty. Left-footed. Shot's not in. It's missed. Joe Hart got enough on it, forced it onto the post, I think, and then somehow across the goal and wide.
How did it stay out? It's hit the inside of the post and deflected away and behind the goal on the opposite side. Did it spin?
Yeah, Hart didn't get anything on it, did he?
Not get anything on it.
It's just off the inside of the post, and spun out, as you say, back across the goal and wide on the other side, and Duncan is disconsolate down below us. But Celtic now are going to get the opportunity, and would you believe it, Joe Hart is going to take Celtic's 5th penalty. Well, Ederson did it for Man City in that shootout against Real Madrid during the week, and now Joe Hart, well, he's certainly a man who knows all about pressure. He's done it on the biggest stage, and now he is stepping up to send Celtic into the Scottish Cup final. If he can beat Kelleros here from the spot. Joe Hart, up he steps. Can he score? Off the post! Oh my goodness! Joe Hart has slammed it off the right-hand post of Kelleros, and Aberdeen have a reprieve. Wow!
I'm looking at why is he taking a penalty at that stage? I'm not trying to be smart, unless he's a good striker of the ball, Joe, but that didn't look as if he was even comfortable striking out.
Still though, Aberdeen need to score this one through Junior Hoylett. It's Joe Hart again as a couple of words. Oh, there's a check to see if Kelleros was off his line in that last one. And this might get... No, I think that's done. No, it's done. It's fine. So here's Junior Hoylett. Celtic still have the chance if Joe Hart can save this one. Junior Hoylett must score, and does. And we're into sudden death.
Oh my God.
Oh, this could not be any more dramatic.
We've had everything in this game. Absolutely everything. From goals to chances to now the penalty shootout where it's incredible. Goalkeepers getting cramped, goalkeepers taking penalties, missing them.
Yeah, it's been quite an afternoon.
Just when you think you've seen it all, eh? Here's Alistair Johnston then. It's 4 apiece. We're into sudden death. Johnston against Rose. Up he steps. Alistair Johnston scores. Sends the keeper the wrong way. Low to Johnston's left. He went. Rose dives to his left. Now it looks like Jack Milne's going to come up and take this next one for Aberdeen.
This is when it gets really tricky for the players who didn't really want to take a penalty. Now they're forced into it, and that's when it's real bottle.
Well, Jack Milne, 21 years of age, is going to step up here against Joe Hart. Has he got the nerve? Up he steps. Jack Milne scores under the body of Joe Hart again. That's the second one that's gone in like that. And Joe Hart can't believe he hasn't kept that one out. And it's 5-5.
Oh my word, it's gone right under him again. Two in the same side. Wow.
Iwata next then. Oh, it's just been so dramatic this afternoon here at Hampden Park. And there is at least one more twist to come as Iwata prepares to take his spot kick to put Celtic in front again, and he has a really cool penalty away to the keeper's left. He went down to his right, Kelleros.
Phillips.
Brilliant strike, wasn't it? Brilliant penalty. You know, the right-hand corner, his right-hand corner, just picks his spot, cool, calm, gives it plenty of height as well. Bruce goes the other way. Even if Bruce goes the correct way, he's never getting that.
Killian Phillips then, the next man to step up for Aberdeen. He cannot afford to miss. No room for error now for Aberdeen if they want to reach the Scottish Cup final. Killian Phillips against Joe Hart. Up he steps, right-footed, saved! Celtic are into the Scottish Cup final, and Joe Hart atones for his penalty miss by popping up semi-finals you're ever likely to witness. But once again, Celtic have come up trumps just when they needed to. It's agony for Killian Phillips in Aberdeen, who twice came back from the dead to force extra time and then penalties. But they just could not find a way to win. And it's serial winners Celtic instead, who will be in their Scottish Cup final once again, potentially to seal a double. Plenty football to come before that is a reality, but the main thing for Celtic this afternoon is that they will be back at Hampden on the 25th of May to play either Rangers or Hearts. It finishes here after 120 minutes, 3-3, but Celtic win 6-5 on penalties.
The Scottish Cup.
This is the chance they've been waiting for. Cross court comes back.